fucking George Gervin. Even though it was close, he was better than George Gervin. He was better than like guys that were highly skilled, but they just weren't him. That's why I keep bringing up top 20 logic, not to fuck up your argument, but to make you just to not make you understand, but to bring in the point. To get to the top 20 of something, you're a special nigga. So it might not be something we can measure. It might not be something that that we could quote unquote put on a combine and say that's a skill or that's this or that's an attribute or that's a, you know what I'm saying? Dr. J was just special. There's something about that they made movies about the fish that saved Pittsburgh. They made movies about this nigga. The other great players, Connie Hawkins and all of them that are all Hall of Famers, even they said him the greatest player. People say he's the greatest player of all time. There was one time when people were saying, you're not even better than Dr. J. How is he to go? There was a time they were saying that, bro. So like Dr. J was a different nigga. Because I think that was, Sheffrin could probably help me with that, but I think during that time, that was like the direct comparison when they first started, when Michael Jordan started taking off the first couple of years. I think that might have, I guess it would have had to been, right? But that would have been, had to been like, when you look back and say, who does Michael Jordan remind you of? It would have to be Dr. J. So it took a while. So that's what I'm saying. We can't measure it. But I brought in, and Logic, we could do this again. This is actually kind of fun. I brought in Chief X, though. He came in here, so I'm assuming he agreed. I didn't look back in the Discord. What was the argument? And by the way, Chief X, I need you to find a way to delete that video, that master teacher video, because that hurt my feelings when I saw you say that. That really hurt my feelings. But the what is the conversation? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. It hurt.
What master teacher? Oh, you talking about?
Nah, I don't want to bring it up because it already shook my faith. It's hard for me to say. So, Paul, let's just move on. You just said something about a master teacher, and I shut my phone off.
Oh, when was it?
No, I'm not. We'll talk about another time because this is a show. We'll talk about another time. Also, we got some debates. We trying to put some bread in your pocket. We got some debates for you. We trying to put you up with Chris Harris. I know y'all aren't enemies, but I know you ain't gonna turn down bread. So, or maybe we'll talk about that. But what was the contention yesterday? Right? I thought it would be a good show, but at least it'd be a good conversation for me. What was the contention that y'all had yesterday? Because when I ChatGPT your sources, you was correct. So were you saying something different before them ChatGPT sources?
No, I'm correct. The thing is, I'm gonna just break the whole story down. People don't want me to be correct. They just want me to debunk me so bad. They're being petty and nitpicky, right? Mm-hmm. So the original claim was, I told people like 4 or 5 years ago, name one Black or Negroid tribe or nation that's indigenous to North Africa, Europe, the Caucasus, the Near East, etc. I said North Africa was never, ever, ever, ever Black Africa, and I'm talking about North Africa as in Mediterranean Africa. Okay, so I then said, excluding people hanging on southern borders of North African countries. So you may have Egypt be North Africa, but on the borders of the southern Egypt, there's overlapping areas where there can be some Blacks who may live in Sudan and live on the border of Egypt, So on southern borders of North African countries, you have some Black folk. So,
damn! I owe you an apology, then, Chief. I just wanted to say that I owe you an apology. My bad.
Let them cook. No problem. Let them cook.
Okay. So,
send me your email. Go ahead, Chief.
Right. So, on the southern borders of these countries, which is considered the Sahara or Saharan tribes or Saharan people, some of them overlap. They'll be outside of North Africa, and then they'll be inside of North Africa because they're on the borders. So I said, let's exclude those people because people are going to be nitpicky, right? I said, even in Aswan, which is on the border of southern Egypt, that's not considered Mediterranean Africa, right? So in order for people to debunk me, they had to start using these people hanging on southern borders. So they brought up people like the Gnawa, people called the Haritans, people called the Tabu. You know what I mean? So I did research on these three groups. These two people are basically Central Africans, and they overlap in Libya. Gnawa people are people who come from Sudan who got caught up in the trans-Saharan, listen to the wording, trans-Saharan slave trade, which is basically the Arab slave trade. Now, the Haritans was the contention yesterday because they're in southern Morocco. Mind you, southern Morocco, overlapping borders like Mali and Algeria, or Mali or Mauritania and Morocco, right? But scholars are confused specifically on their genetics, and most of them say they come from sub-Saharan tribes through trade routes that the Arab slave trade, that the Arab and Berber slave trade brought them further up north. This is why today, and back in the day, they're considered slaves and servants, because the Haritan is more so a Saharan tribe. That's why they called it the trans-Saharan slave trade. When Arabs were sweeping across North Africa in the Sahara and trade routes, they were bringing these slaves up further north. So the contention was that the Haritan have genetics that come from sub-Saharan Africa. They're not really North Africans, or they're not really indigenous to North Africa. Now, here's the confusion people are confusing, though, Brass. And this is going to clear it up. People confuse the words native with indigenous. There's a difference. Native means where you were born. So I'm a native Californian. Brass and nobody on this in this Discord can be native Californians unless you were born in California. I'm a native Los Angelinos. I'm a native from Los Angeles because I was born here. I'm not indigenous to Los Angeles. This is the difference, right? So native, people confuse with indigenous. So there are some native black folk in North Africa because the Arabs and Berbers took on sub-Saharan women as concubines and married them and put them part of their tribe. And these women who were concubines held children over 1,000 years, over hundreds of years. So those black children were born in Morocco, or would you say native to Morocco, but not indigenous. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Hey, Chief. So the only black folks are sub-Saharan Africans?
No, I'm not saying that at
You
all.
just said that.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, so why?
Yeah.
So you saying the
How did he
only
just say
black
that? Hold on,
folk?
sir.
In,
How did he just say that? How did
he did just say that.
You hear that? I know. So he said those specific words, or he said something that makes that claim.
He said those.
True.
He said those specific words. I wouldn't even cut him off if he didn't say that. He said. You said where we getting confused is that the Berbers mixed with sub-Saharan Africans is where you see the black folks. So that's why I asked you. So are the only so the Berbers could have mixed with somebody else and made black folks, right?
Okay. What I said specifically, Arabs and Berber, which are two distinct people. Okay. Arabs and Berbers took on sub-Saharan women as concubines when they were enslaving and going through trade routes. And those babies were born, had a black mama and an Arab daddy. But these children kowtowed towards their daddy because in Islam, the man is the power. So they did whatever the man or the daddy said, and these look like black children because they had some dark Arabs and some black African women. So those children were born in North Africa, so they're considered native to North Africa.
No, but they are black folks, right, Chief?
Yeah, what I'm saying is when the Arab had a baby with the black African mama, a lot of those children come out black. So they're native,
so they black folks.
Native. No, listen what I'm saying. I've just said that. Listen, it's not a gotcha moment. I'm just clarifying. Those children are native to North Africa, but not indigenous.
I don't think somebody know what indigenous means. I don't think somebody know what indigenous means. Like that you overlap in two terms. Like when you're trying to exclude one like the other one, that don't even make sense. But y'all can have it.
Yeah, so I gave the definition of native. Someone can look that up and verify that I'm totally correct. Now,
I'll look it up.
Let's just define indigenous, because native is where you were born. That's a fact.
Fine, but we never was arguing native. You said indigenous.
Right, but I was explaining the difference between native and...
I heard you. I just let you talk. The fact that you saying that there is no indigenous black people or black tribes in North Africa, I already disproved that. I'm not going back through that because you want to use the word native now. Like, it's crazy. I said indigenous. They're indigenous
but here's the
black
thing.
people
Here's the
in
thing.
North indigenous, Brass. You hear me, Brass? Indigenous.
I'm listening to you.
I said there's indigenous black tribes in North Africa. You can look it up yourself. You ain't got to listen to me, and you ain't got to listen to Chief X.
So basically, I agreed to that, but you got to understand my context. I already said there are gray areas that are in North Africa. So yes, technically, there are black people born in North Africa because of the gray areas and the overlap.
I said indigenous, not born
in northern Morocco, northern Algeria, in northern Libya. So technically, if you want to be just that strict, yeah, that's why I'm saying I exclude southern borders. A southern border is North Africa.
So it says native is born there. I'm just doing the simple definitions. It's longer than that, but essentially native equals born there, and indigenous is original people of the land. And it says, yes, there were and still are indigenous black tribes in North Africa, Nubians, Tebu, Haritan, Yerementis, Arabization, etc. Arabization and later colonization reshaped the demographics, but the African foundation of North Africa is undeniable. Now, so you're saying you disagree with that?
Ooh. No, I agree with that. So the tribe that you named, you just named
case closed then.
Right. No. Listen, Brass, listen what I'm saying.
Bro. I'm listening
Before you even read that, Brass, remember I said tribes like the Tebu, the Haritan. Now, remember I said this? And you just read what I said before you read it.
No, I know. What about the Nubians?
Oh yeah, Nubians or people who are in Aswan. This was another place I said before you said that, which is on a border area or a gray area or overlapping area. They overlap Sudan, and parts of them are in southern Egypt. I said this. I agree with that. Yeah.
But just sound like Chef, we said two different things there.
No, because he tomorrow. What did he say? He said there's no indigenous black people of North Africa. And then he used the word. He said they could be native, but they're not indigenous. What you read, Brass, completely different from what he just said. Remember that.
Nope, because Chevron is failing to, and he's doing it on purpose, not to give the caveat I said. I said, yes, on North African countries on southern borders, they're there.
You can't use the caveat right there, though, brother.
You're touching it in the strictest sense. I'm not trying to be the strictest. I'm just giving a caveat that I'm excluding people on southern borders that overlap.
So that's a poor back. That's a poor back thing. You think what I'm saying? They say, I'm going to bet y'all, right? You say, I'm going to bet you, Chief X, that there's no indigenous black people in North Africa. And then you name all of the black people that's indigenous to North Africa, and you say excluding them. That's crazy.
First of all,
That's crazy.
The American were brought up further north through the Saharan slave trade. That's why they're considered slaves. This is not that complicated.
Yeah, I ain't say nothing about no herd, right? So he's going to keep using the herd because he feel like he got a point.
What was the tribe you was naming? What was the tribe
even the herd, even the herd. Listen, just because you can show that they have sub-Saharan African traits along with it, the North Africans have West Eurasian traits to them. But they still indigenous to North Africa. So just by him saying, because they got a mix of North African, Berber, and Arab in them, then somehow that's the exclusion from making them North African. Well, then he will have to exclude the people who he considered North African because they got Western Asian DNA in them. You see how it's a whole bunch of nonsense going on. I'm not excluding. Go ahead, teach him. Keep teaching these niggas.
I'm not excluding.
Keep teaching these niggas. I'm muting out.
Okay, cool. I'm not excluding based on DNA.
Chef.
I'm just stating what the census says. Y'all have to argue the consensus. Yeah, so
Okay.
even in my video I made years ago, I clearly said, I guess I have to clip it up because people have short memories. The challenge I made in the challenge said I'm excluding southern borders. But for some reason, since people want to have a gotcha moment, they want to include southern borders, even though they heard me say I'm excluding southern borders. This is where the fuckery comes in at. Because nobody in the community could nab me, they leaned on people way down on southern borders. That's the whole crux of this. And they forgot to mention one in Europe, the Caucasus, the Near East, and all these other areas I said. So they only found something on a southern border of a North African country. And they left the other 4 spaces, geographical areas alone.
Now, that particular argument,
African countries, or is it there's no indigenous black people in North Africa?
Okay, so the challenge was 5 areas. I said North Africa, the Caucasus, the Near East, the Levant. I named all these areas.
hey, Chief,
North Africa.
listen, it's concrete, man.
You're breaking up a little, Corey.
Am I breaking up a little bit?
Just a little bit.
So what we talking about?
Sir, send me your goddamn I'm just going to tell you straight up. You know I keep it 100 with you, right? You know I am. Whether you agree with me or not, at least you know I'm keeping it 100 with you, right? Hopefully we can agree to that.
Okay.
Right? So, bro, what you need to do is change your argument, bro. And it would be better if you would just say that there's in North Africa, black tribes or black indigenous people are a minority. And you can win that one. And your overall.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot too. That'll be a lot too.
Right? And then, but you can still make your overall point by just saying that they're minorities, bro. Right? Same thing with America, right? When you get the Abos and they say, well, the niggas was here already. Niggas been here. The niggas is indigenous, right? And then you can't say, well, it ain't never been no niggas here, right? But what you can say is the niggas is minority. So when you go over, just like somebody said, well, what if the aliens came down 2,000 years from now and they was looking at who built America, right?
At no point would they think sub-Saharan Africans built America, right? Not that there were no sub-Saharan Africans in North America. It's just the overall vast majority of genetic signatures and skeletal remains, right, would be Western European or Western Eurasian.
Yeah, but the sub-Saharan did build America. That's insane, Corey.
No, listen. We can say that, and it's a lot. Well, I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's just a horrible analogy.
No, it's not a horrible analogy, bro.
It is because you just lied within the midst of the analogy.
No,
like he doing. So maybe, no. It's a good analogy, Corey, because he's doing the same thing. You're right. Never mind. Let me shut up. Keep going, Corey.
I'm just trying to say that when you look back at the genetics and the skeletal remains, right, you'll see mostly Eurasian. And then even in the sub-Saharan, even when you find the sub-Saharan people, right, they still got Eurasian genetics in them. So that's all I'm saying. Like it would be better, or it would suit you better to go with the minority argument. If you're gonna argue that at all, I don't even know. Chief X, to tell you the honest to God truth, bro, I don't even know why that's an argument, though. Why would you even state that? Can you clarify that for me?
Wait, Corey, did you just say when you find the sub-Saharan people, they got Eurasian signatures?
Yes, in America, yes, you do.
Oh, okay, you saying in America. That's why it's a horrible analogy, though.
But you do, though. You have.
Yeah, I do. I do. 8,000 years later, of course I do.
Every last one of us on this page is a nigga, and every last one of us.
When we talk about ancient times, that would be a horrible analogy.
The way you said
mixing and the slavery. Why would you bring that up?
America would be ancient 2,000 years from now.
Sound crazy, Corey.
You don't get that America would be ancient.
Terrible analogy.
Years from now?
That's not analogous. Just stop it, Corey. Go back to saying good shit.
It would be ancient. It was terrible. 2,000 years from now. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Yes, but then when you go into who built the stuff, that's where you mess. That's where you fuck it up at.
Well, Here's the thing. Okay, fine. I might have misspoke with the build. What was the population, right? Because they ain't talking about
when. What you talking about when?
Hey,
they is talking about
who built North Africa. He's not talking about that.
They absolutely are. That's the time period they're really talking about. Why would they be arguing over mud mounds, Corey? You say that yourself. Why would they be arguing? You know what they arguing about.
So was y'all argument about who built North Africa?
Of course it is. What else would we have to go off of? It's not what I'm But then you can drop it off anytime you want to. Otherwise, what will we have to go on? What is you really talking about, Chief X? What is people really arguing over North Africa for, Corey? To be serious. No, the population when, Corey. When.
Yeah, let's get Chief X to the conversation. I invited him in here to whatever. So engage with him.
Chief X, was you not talking about the population or not? What were you talking about?
When, Chief X, when?
Well, okay, there's two people.
Who's that? I love that.
When are you talking? But what? Branch, just listen to this. Why would they be arguing over mud mounds? Why would they be arguing over desert land? Come on now, be serious.
They're not talking about neither one of those, bro. They're talking about the people.
The people win, Corey. Win.
Hold on,
you can ask me. Overall.
It can't be overall because that's nonsense. It's just like you talking about now in America, talking about the people overall in 2025 rather than 1865 would be nonsense. No,
niggas be arguing dumb as shit, bro.
Hey, Freddie, what time on Monday you good?
Hold on, you can clarify. Because my argument wasn't that I knew what was going on. I'm saying.
So wait, who said the dumbest shit? So wait. Whoever came in and said this is the dumbest shit. Wait, let me just talk to them. So arguing about people. Wait, arguing about
harder than what it is.
Arguing about. Damn. Wait, because I can barely hear y'all. Arguing about people in no specific time period. How would that make sense? Is that Fetty?
Hold on,
No,
hold
you're talking
on,
about
hold
Bro,
on.
the
you've been
indigenous
having this
people.
convo longer than
Obviously,
me, and you
obviously, you're
confused.
talking
Who's
about a
asking that
long
question?
time
Let me
ago.
give it some more.
Hey, one mic, one mic, one mic.
Who's asking that question?
I'm asking you the question.
Who is
I mean, you can
who?
answer both of them. It's Tuck and Corey. Tuck and Corey, bro. You can answer
No, that
both
wasn't
of them.
Corey.
Okay?
That wasn't Corey. I know Corey's voice.
Yeah, this is
This is Corey right here.
That's Tuck.
That's
this
the
is
one
the
that's
this is
talking.
the this is the pseudo killing magi arching tri media Tuck.
We can't get into it. I was trying to be serious. Who's answering the question?
I'm being serious too.
That
I
shit,
I,
that
I,
shit
I ain't been
sounded
kicked.
wild as fuck.
Hey, Chief Lex, I ain't been kicked out this group yet. I ain't been kicked out yet.
You ain't gonna get
Okay,
kicked
I
out
was
this
asking the
I
question.
believe
Is that Logic talking?
No, that's Tuck. You don't know Tuck?
Oh, okay, I got you now. Okay, dang,
You
okay.
have never heard me say that.
Matter, can you answer the question? Whoever it was, can you answer the question, Chief?
Yeah, he is clear, Smalls. And cause somebody explained the topic, cause Mel's trying to figure out what y'all talking about. Cause somebody
Okay,
just
I'm not sure.
put a title to it, just real quick, like a
I'm not
question.
sure. I'm not sure what the exact question was.
Well, whatever y'all debating right now, Chief X, put a title to
So,
it. What are
like,
y'all talking about?
so just for clarification, so people understand something. Like, in this conscious community, everyone claimed ancient Egypt, right? They didn't claim Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco. They claimed Egypt. They didn't say Algerians is our ancestors, Tunisians is our ancestors. They said Egyptians is our ancestors. Why? Because Egypt is the mystical, magical place and it has all those achievements in buildings and temples. So they want to claim those achievements. They ain't claim nowhere else. There's a reason for this, right? So for instance, North
What's the reason,
Africa,
Chief? What's the reason?
North Africa, because I'm addressing something someone else said. In places like Tunisia, Algeria, and stuff like this, they're not even 2%. Somebody needs to mute out, please. In the back.
Hey Tuck, when you're not talking, you gotta mute out. It's like a fan in the background.
Okay. So places like Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, like America is 14% black folk, 14% Negroes. You know what percent is in Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia? Not even 2%. Now, majority of those 2%, if you just want to lean on them, that makes you happy. Oh, we got 2% in North Africa. Like, calm down, y'all. Now, half of those 2% came up from sub-Saharan Africans and their servants there right now. We barely had a presence in North Africa. Whether you talking about southern North Africa or northern North Africa, we're very, 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 very low in percentage. So when Corey says the minority, I agree with that. But the minority, in my opinion, were natives and brought there, but not indigenous. That's just my opinion. So I don't know if I answered the question because maybe it was so much going on. And
Yeah, but when are you talking about, Chief? That's why I talk about time period, and it's important you talk about the time period you talking about. You talking about
history.
right now, the Arab Republic of Egypt?
Even right now, if you go to Egypt, you might
what do
see
you mean
99.
even right now? So what was you just talking about?
Listen, I'm talking about same thing Corey was talking about. We're such a minority.
Right now or when? When are you talking about?
I'm talking about ancient history and now.
No way. That's no way that's what you're talking about.
If anybody goes to Egypt right now, you're gonna see about 99 Caucasians, then you'll see one black person. You're barely there. Everyone knows this. That's why I'm trying. All these people coming back from tours of Egypt, acting like it's a whole bunch of black folk there, and they know it's not. You'll barely see black folk walking around Egypt unless they're on a tour. Those are not our lands. That's all I'm saying. In general, we can be nitpicky about 1% and 2%. I'm just saying black folk is not really indigenous to North Africa. But if you want to lean on 1%, have at it. If that's what makes you, if that's what gets you hard, pause. Have at it.
Jesus Christ. Nah, but I'm saying like
yeah, I was about to say,
in what you're saying,
Hey,
in what
But
you're
what?
saying, if that's
earbud
enough,
out my
if
ear.
that's enough for somebody to win the bet, though, you still got to pay up.
Right, I was just about to say that logic. Like 1% is still a percent, though. Chief X, like you said,
in the
you said
challenge,
0%.
again, you forgot in the challenge
That
for the
part
money,
right
in the
there is the
challenge
truth.
for the money,
Okay.
I said
That part right there is
excluding
the
southern
truth.
areas. I'm just humoring y'all now about southern borders. But in the challenge, I said exclude southern borders. So that means I don't owe nobody nothing.
Oh well, now okay, yeah, that's so
And
someone
that's why
someone.
nobody should listen to your back.
Wait,
Because it's ridiculous.
but wait. No,
No, it's
hold on,
ridiculous
because
because
that's
me.
wait, that's what I was apologizing for, though, Chief X. I didn't know you ever said exclude southern borders, right?
Because they drive these black turkeys is fronting on you. And
Right. Well, so check this out. Check this out. If could someone do that? Could someone show some indigenous black North African tribe
Don't even walk
excluding?
down there. Them southern borders don't even exist.
But wait. If that's what it. But wait, I know the borders are fucking man-made and it's some bullshit. I get that, but they exist, and that's what he's asked. That's what he's saying, though, Tuck. So if that's what he's saying, like, could like, and I want someone to treat me like an idiot.
No, they don't. No, they don't exist. The term he's talking about, he's lying. They do not exist.
How can you talk about something that don't exist?
Right, Chuck. I mean, yeah, I don't know
How
about
can you
that
even
one.
have an opinion on something that don't even exist?
He's talking about southern borders and people being different people. They don't even exist at the time he's talking about.
I'll clarify what you're saying right now. You try to people say this ancient times, there were no borders, and this is okay. Let one West African tribe walk into another West African tribe's area and see if they don't get their head knocked off.
How would you know where that is, Chief?
No. I'm not saying. This is what I'm making a statement. Listen to what I'm saying.
Making it up. I know what you're doing.
Listen. I got you covered. Listen, I'm going to give you a great analogy. Asante tribe. This is Queen Nzinga's a tribe. When she captured another African or had war with another African, they had to go into that other tribe's geographical area that they lay claim to and invade another tribe. That means, hold on. That means you're going into an area where people designated, this is our motherfucking hood. Don't come up in here. It's the same shit.
But
I mean, Chief X is. No, come on. Listen, Tuck, come on. Let's just be real, right? I stay in the Bay, right? There is no physical motherfucking line that separates the crest from North Vallejo. But bro, if you go to the goddamn crest, you got to watch. But bro, we all know. Here's the thing, though, nigga. If you go to the goddamn crest, you gotta watch your ass. Come on, man. Like, let's be real.
He's doing it, small. I'm not doing it. He's distinguishing what's too far north and what's too far south. How do you do that? He's making it up as he goes. And then when you find something far enough north, he'll call it a southern border. It's a trick bag.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to mute and listen more. I'm going to mute and listen more there. I didn't know that's what he was doing.
What's the claim being made?
Okay, let me clarify again for people. Okay. It's not Chief X making shit up. The ancient Egyptians called the Nubians, they called the Cushites Southerners. Were they making it up? They called them Southerners because they know they were from another geographical area, not Egypt. And they were considered their enemies. And they set up borders. You can't
Steve,
cross.
Steve, where you messing up is
I'm still
where you
lost on
messing
what the
up
claim
is
is.
they could have been North African
You're
too.
muffled.
They could
You're
have been
muffled.
North
Hey,
Africa.
Tuck, real quick, because and I know what y'all talking about is deep and whatever. Pause. What is the goddamn? The man done asked, what is the claim? And for some reason, whatever y'all saying, somebody who is competent can't get it. So, could somebody simplify what is the claim being made? Y'all would dispute.
And I would think Chief X
He
would
is
be
making a
the one who
claim
needs to state that.
about in.
Tuck,
Go
let
ahead,
Chief X
Tuck.
do it.
No. He did
Okay,
it
go ahead.
twice, and
Go
Mel.
ahead.
No. Chief X did it twice, and Mel didn't get it. Tuck, just in the simplest terms, what is the claim being made?
I
Well,
don't
he's
think
not.
Mel
This is
wasn't on
why.
the line when I was telling the claims.
No, that's who I asked. That's who Mel. Mel was the reason why I asked. Because somebody state what y'all talking about. He heard you twice and didn't get it.
wasn't on the
You
line
want to do it again, Chief? You want to do it again, Chief?
Okay, go ahead. Chief. Talk to Mel. Talk to because Mel's
Okay,
trying
yeah.
to get the point.
Yeah, man, please, Tuck my out and mess my argument up on purpose. The claim is there are no black folk indigenous
John Turkey.
to North Africa.
No, let him finish. Tell me his
Oh my
point.
God. There are no black folk indigenous, Negroid. There's no Negroid nations or tribes indigenous to North Africa, Europe, the Caucasus, the Near East, and places like those, excluding southern borders. And I asked people to name one tribe, and they failed in 4 years.
Hold on. So you're saying outside of sub-Saharan Africa, there are no black or Negro peoples that are indigenous to areas outside of sub-Saharan Africa?
No, I named specific areas because if I say India, somebody gonna say the Adam and Eve.
We're going to exclude
Right?
India.
If I
So
say,
you're
Southeast
including
Asia,
Europe.
people go, hold on. Let me just clear clarity. If I said Southeast Asia, people gonna talk about the Negritos in the Philippines. So I was specific areas. I said Europe, the Near East, the Caucasus, right, and the Levant.
And what about North Africa?
Yeah, that was the first one. North Africa, excluding southern borders. Yeah.
What about areas known as Russia today?
There's no black folk indigenous to anywhere in Russia. Ever. In the history of mankind. Ever.
So,
never in Europe in the history of mankind.
Okay.
Because hey, black folks said we circumnavigated the globe. This is what the conscious community teach. We circumnavigated the globe. We migrated everywhere. We were the first everywhere, they said. But outside of sub-Saharan,
is anyone yet to disagree with evidence?
Say it again.
Has anyone yet to disagree with evidence?
Well,
yeah, me and Chef disagree. Me and Chef disagree.
There's been three answers.
What evidence did you present?
Hold on. The answers were the taboo, the Heriton, and it was another answer too. But all those answers, the taboo and the Heriton, they're all on southern borders.
On southern borders
of North Africa.
Are you saying
are they indigenous to North Africa?
Oh my God, we went over that already.
Not
specifically. Hey, Mel. More specifically, what he's talking about is the Sahel. He want to.
So he's talking about the Sahel region, northern.
The Saharan and Sahel. I'm excluding. That's right, Corey.
Okay, so you're excluding the Saharan and the Sahel. Okay, so the taboo people would be in the mountain range in the Sahara. So according to what you're excluding, they don't count.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is why it's important to get some clarity because, all right, so outside of the Sahel region, the Sahara.
Just for clarity, the taboo people were named. Now, 80% of the taboo is in Central Africa. but there is 20% of the taboo on the southern border of Libya, which is North Africa. You see what I'm saying? So
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. Yep, they're in Chad and Nigeria, but yeah.
So
It's
Y'all okay with what he just did?
and are
Y'all
those
okay with that? Indigenous, T-Rex? Are those taboo indigenous
well,
to southern Libya?
Right. Well, here's the clarification for the taboo. The taboo are a Can you hear me now?
I heard you the whole time. So keep going.
Okay, I don't know. But here's the caveat with the taboo, Corey. The taboo are a nomadic people. They don't even have a homeland.
Berbers are nomadic in North Africa. So
well, the Berbers are the opposite people.
You have so many mobile people
there's
in
a
North
caveat
Africa.
there, Chef. I
But
heard
there's so
the
many
caveat in your
people.
statement. I heard it in your
Think about
statement.
what he just said. How
let me tell you what.
Let
me tell you what I heard you say. You didn't hear. You probably didn't hear yourself. You probably didn't hear what you. It might have been a split, right? Mm-hmm. But you said that the Berbers are nomadic in North Africa. Meaning, you said in North Africa, though, right? So
they consider the North African group, but they nomadic. They go all the way down into the Sahel.
But they move around.
No, they go all the way down into the Sahel and into Niger. It's Berbers all the way down in Niger, Corey.
Okay, I'm just trying to be clear. I'm trying to be fair. I won't be fair.
You're talking about
a lot of times. This is what happens, Chef.
You're talking about a vast area that you can't even make a statement like that and think that it's coherent. It's too bad. North Africa is so huge. To say it's no black tribes indigenous to North Africa is just factually wrong. That's my point. And then
it's sounding like it's getting to be sounding like that, Chef. But I do still want to be fair, right?
You can't be fair when somebody when they make a statement about a whole area and then they exclude.
You want to be fair?
Hold on, and then they exclude everybody that fits the category. So that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like you said, if I was to say, if Chief X was to tell me that yes, there's indigenous black tribes in North Africa, they are a minority, and the great civilizations in North Africa, those black people did not create them. If that's the statement, then fine, I'm with them. But to say that there's no indigenous,
but I'm trying to tell you, Chief X.
I'm just arguing with him just to be arguing.
I got a question.
Corey and Chef, this clears it all up right here. This clears it all up right here. If you ask the question, are the Berber another word for Berber is the Amazigh. They are indigenous to North Africa. If you ask, are the Berber and Amazigh indigenous to North Africa, it's going to say yes. The Haritans are not Berbers or Amazigh people. They're another ethnic group that comes from way further south. They're not really considered indigenous. The Amazigh and the Berbers are indigenous.
The Haritans trace their origin to the Maghreb region.
Yeah, they have some Haritans in the Maghreb region, Mauritania, stuff like that.
They say that that's their origins. Is in the Maghreb.
So if their origins is in the Maghrebi, right, bro, then those are North Africans. Just to let you know.
That's not where their origin is.
Okay,
yeah,
he said that. That's what Mel said.
You got certain groups that have ancestral homelands.
The consensus and the majority says they come from sub-Saharan African tribes.
Another thing I would bring up is
before you say that, let me say this. I also posted in the Discord Black Moroccans, Southern Moroccans, telling you where they're from, and they said Sudan and Northern Mali. So you don't have to listen to Chief X. Listen to what them Black Moroccans say their ancestry come from. Corey, they said their ancestry come from Northern Mali and places like that. So you got to argue with them. They see out their own mouths. I posted it in your book.
If somebody can just look at how large North Africa is, if somebody can just look at how large North Africa is, and then think about Black people as being the most successful group of Africans, cover the most territory in Africa, and to sit there and say there's no indigenous,
the whole United States and
there's
Europe.
no indigenous
You
Black
Europe
people
and the
in
United
North
States.
Africa.
North Africa.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, and that's the point. If the point is to show that with the conscious community saying that the Black people was the ancient the Moroccans, the Moorish Empire, the Egyptians, the Carthaginians, if you're arguing against that, I would say, yo, I'm with you. But to say there is no indigenous Black people in North Africa just because they wasn't a prominent group there, it's crazy. You just trying to win an argument.
I agree.
You're just trying to win an argument. I'm with you, bro.
There are some in overlapping areas. I keep saying that.
Indigenous.
So
I'm saying that there are
is an overlapping area.
I'm making a new claim. I'm betting $100 right now for anybody to show me that there's no indigenous Black tribes in North Africa. I just reversed it.
Okay, now, that's another argument.
No, it's not. It's the reverse of yours. And I'm letting that. If your argument is true, then you'll be able to disprove mine with the truthfulness of yours.
I said excluding certain areas.
Exactly. I ain't excluding
yours is just blanketed. You don't care about overlapping areas. You don't care about overlapping areas. You don't care about gray areas. So you're gonna win if you don't care about anything. You win.
Hey, real quick, if I could jump in. So where'd you put the Tuareg chief X?
Exactly. I was the Tuareg in Libya and Algeria. They live in those mountains. Also, Tazli in Algeria. They live in those mountains. It's another mountains. I think Hassan something. Also in, I believe it's Libya.
You're gonna make the excuse why they not indigenous.
It's the Fezab Oasis. They live there. Like, there's plenty of examples of Tuareg people that are dark skinned,
and they're not
that
and
live
they're not
in Algeria and Libya.
It's not overlapping areas either. They're pretty far north in Algeria. So what's
they have royalty there, so they didn't. Well, they are people that tend to move around a lot. They did set up royalty in those areas, so they stayed there for a
so what say you, Chief X? What's your verdict on the Tuareg?
Okay, so 6 years ago, I did a whole hour and 35-minute presentation on the Tuareg people. Berber is called Tuareg peoples, Berber/Arab Moors exposed, right? And I show a Berber man with a Black kid in the field, and the Black kid is his slave. These are people of the Tuareg tribe, right? People of the Tuareg tribe, a lot of those Berbers are more so Berbers than Arabs. Okay? I can't hear you.
Somebody need to mute.
Okay. So Tuareg is kind of a Saharan tribe also, although they also go up further north, but they're mainly known as a Saharan tribe. The Tuareg is a mixed tribe. Listen to my wording. Is a mixed tribe, meaning you have some who have seriously sub-Saharan Black folk features, and you have some that don't, right? The ones that are Black looking are the lower class and servants. That Tuareg men, that the white Moor took on a Black woman as a concubine, and for generations, they got a bunch of Black babies in the Tuareg tribe because of that. So I got a whole presentation on it, and I'll drop it in the Discord right now.
You're correct with that. Even the French, French people have came over and acknowledged that the Tuareg have a mixed features among them. They compared them to like Mediterraneans.
So when he says Black indigenous North Africans, he's looking for a group that's basically uniformly Black or like overwhelmingly Black, Chief X? Is that what you mean?
Can I say what now?
When you say indigenous black groups or, indigenous black North Africans, you're looking for whole groups that are like predominantly, overwhelmingly, or almost uniformly black? Or are we talking about individuals?
Okay, now, you asked me about the Turag at first, right? I answered, right? Right?
You did.
Now you're switching up to something else.
Can I jump in here? He's asking why the outliers among the Turag people aren't sufficient.
No, those aren't outliers though. Logic. They make up about 40% of the Tuareg, the ones who we consider like phenotypically black. But I mean, that's besides the point anyway, right? I was asking you, Chief X, to kind of bring more outline to what your criteria is. You know what I'm saying? So when you say indigenous black North Africans, you're looking for entire groups that are black or mostly black individuals. You feel me?
Also, are ancient people, do they qualify within the scrutiny that you're using? Because if we're using ancient people, that opens it up a little bit.
Can I say something here, if you don't mind?
But I want to respond to both what Logic said. Now, sir, if he's keeping ancient populations, there's several that I can present that fit the criteria.
Let me say something here. How can you judge ancient people by modern standards? That doesn't make any sense.
It's not judging them by modern standards. He's looking for specific criteria.
That if you're gonna go by their mix and their mix,
all y'all gotta do is look it up for yourself. How can people listen to you when you can look it up for yourself? Like it's not even an argument if everybody just look it up.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the Garamontes.
It's no arguing with them if you can look it up and you can disprove it just by looking it up.
Hey, Chef, you can look at the Garamontes from Fazan in Southwest Libya. They got artwork displaying them. In fact, a lot of the when I say the Greco-Roman writers saw them as Negroes.
You have living black people, living tribes right now. You don't even have to go historically. You don't even need archaeology. You can look it up right now. There are black indigenous people living right now in North Africa.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on real quick.
I'm lost here. I'm lost. We keep going back and forth.
Let me give another clarification. Hold on. Let me see.
Are we using ancient people?
Some food for thought. Let me give you some real food for thought. Okay. When the Arabs began to invade Egypt, they invaded Egypt and took over Egypt politically. They also swept across the Sahara, enslaving. They also swept across North Africa, bringing Islam and the sword of Islam to the Amazigh people, and they converted to Islam. Arabs specifically called Sudan, Sudan. What does Sudan means? Land of the blacks, right? He didn't call Egypt land of the blacks because North Africa wasn't black folk to Arabs who swept across it. He didn't hold on. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me land my plane. They swept across Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, all these places, and failed to call any of that North African countries the Black Land. They only called the Black Land Sudan, which means the Black Land, land of the blacks, which is south of North Africa. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. You know what? That's some real shit.
Can I respond to you, Chief X?
Sure.
Are you aware that when you look at ancient Greeks, the Egyptians and Ethiopians were the standard for blackness? Are you aware of that?
Your phone's breaking up.
I said, are you aware that when Greeks described black in the ancient world, the Egyptians...
You're confusing the wording, and you're confusing a word called melanos. They're just talking about a melanated people. They're not specifically talking about a black people.
This is what I said. I said the ancient Egyptians and the Ethiopians were the standard for blackness, but the Greeks were describing blackness. They either look like the Egyptians, and if you read, you know that.
Yeah, that's fake news, fam.
No, they have no, they have ancient text from that's it. You're reading
I'm clarifying the ancient text you're talking about, but you're so dogmatic. You're not hearing me. The Greeks, the Greco-Roman word, used a word called melancholis to describe some people. That doesn't necessarily mean black or Negro. It just means some melanated people. So Afrocentrics took that way out of context. Way out of context to mean black folk. And that's the ideology you're stealing right now.
You're wrong, because Ethiopia is a Greek word. And if you study, you know
that's the other one. Ethiopia would be considered black folk. It's considered Ethiopia, the bird face.
It's a Greek word. They're indigenous people. Go back to Kush. They're Kushite.
But Ethiopia is not North Africa. So I'm not sure why you're mentioning Ethiopia.
Yes, it is. It's under Sudan.
Ethiopia is not North Africa.
How is it there?
Oh my God! It's East Africa.
Is it? Am I wrong? Somebody is in North Africa, East Africa.
Yes, you're wrong. It is East Africa. It's considered Northeast Africa, but partially is majority.
Ethiopia is not considered Northeast Africa. It is only East Africa. Ethiopia has nothing to do with North Africa.
Chief X, hold on. You're talking about modern Ethiopia. Joel is talking about it.
Here we go. Here go the mind games. I'm simply saying Ethiopia is East Africa. You don't want to agree with that, Haskell. You know I'm right. It's okay to agree with me.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. Joel is talking about.
Is Ethiopia East Africa?
Listen. Yes, it is.
Know that first before you go on. Thank you.
Bro.
The other guy don't know what you're talking. Let's just get that clarified first.
Chill out. The reason why y'all
I don't want to think all y'all is crazy thinking Ethiopia is part of North Africa.
He's talking about Chief X. He's talking about the Sudan when he says Ethiopia.
No, he's not.
No, I'm talking about Ethiopia.
He's talking about Ethiopia. I got good comprehension, so don't stop it. I got it.
Joel, you think modern Ethiopia is in North Africa?
I'm asking. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then correct me.
No, it's not.
Well, Sudan is. So,
Sudan is considered part of North Africa.
The UN considers it a part of North Africa. And some other bodies.
Well, then those people in Sudan are indigenous North Africans. So that's one.
So now the African Union, because the African, here goes the caveat with that. The UN considers it. Hold on.
There's no caveat.
Somebody got to mute out. Somebody's really messed up now.
There is no caveat. They're indigenous people.
Okay, so let me hear me out. The UN considers Sudan North Africa. The African Union considers it sub-Saharan Africa. That's the only caveat. If you didn't know that.
So, what's the difference? North Africa.
I'm just saying there's a dichotomy. It's okay. I don't argue that. I've said 100 times. I don't argue whether Sudan is sub-Saharan Africa or North Africa. Whatever you want to think it is. Fine.
Well, the people that
here's the problem with the Egypt conversation. Even though I disagree with Chief X, you just got people just coming in and saying, "Wow, shit, bro." Like, I mean, you went from saying Ethiopia is North Africa to now that Sudan is indigenous. Like, nobody is even disputing that. So like this is why we can't ever get clarity because it's always some motherfucker come in with a wild, out of left field ass statement or question or something like. You know what I mean? Like nobody's debating whether Sudan is indigenous or whether Ethiopia is North Africa. That's not a debate, bro. Y'all got to move on. Y'all got to move on.
So people in Sudan are not indigenous North Africa. Go ahead.
Move on.
Is not Sudan North Africa? That's my question.
Technically, it's not.
Technically, it's not.
Yeah, you got political. You got certain organizations that have put it in North Africa for geopolitics, but if you're being geographical, it's not North Africa.
Yeah, that's why when it's highlighted, Sudan is always a lighter green. The other North African countries are a darker green because it's a political thing and a cultural thing.
So yeah, Chief X, you never answered my question though. So is the idea that because you said that the black Tuareg, the ones who are unambiguously black, they are kind of marginalized and treated poorly, but I didn't hear a denial of their indigeneity. That's a word.
Yeah. So the Tuareg in general, I said I did answer. The Tuareg in general is a Saharan tribe in general. Okay, they're a Saharan tribe, and the black folk that are with the Tuareg come from more southern areas and are used as servants and slaves. It's real simple.
Yeah, you made that up.
Okay, I just posted. I listen. This is what I'm saying. Listen, Haskell, on my
So
children.
where the black Tuareg from?
Actually, let me just say this. Haskell, I did a
I'm
1.5. Hold on, Haskell. Hold on. I did a 1.5 presentation on it. I showed all the black figures in ancient hundreds of years ago in videos, all being servants. I showed the white Moors and the black Moors. That's how they described them. The white Moor and the black Moor.
Could you explain whatever it is that you go explain here? Because I'm not watching no videos.
So if you don't have time to watch it, I don't have time to explain it. But I'm saying if you wanted to get clarity,
I'm just not about to watch.
We can't talk over each other. Hold on. You're not really interested in the answer. You're only interested in the gotcha moment. You really don't want to learn about the Tuareg tribe and what the makeup of it is. That's why I'm letting you know I'm referring the video for you.
That's all like Dr. York.
Okay.
That's all like Dr. York would have thought.
We can answer those.
Y'all peace out.
Did y'all introduce Dr. York to the conversation?
Yeah, what he just did is what Dr. York would have done. That's what he just did when Askel asked.
Had to step away.
No, you can't, because when Askel asked him a question, he gave an answer like how Dr. York, Uncle Chris Harris would give. He gave that roundabout answer. If you don't want to learn, if you don't want knowledge, if you want got you, he did not address the question. Anytime people start talking like Dr. York, I'm going to call him Dr. York and call them out. He was being Dr. York a while ago. He was given the roundabout instead of answering the question when he was called out and making that stuff up. He started saying that, oh, I wrote a book. I did a presentation. I did a 1.5 hour presentation. And if you don't got your moment, he couldn't answer the question. So he did a Dr. York. We need to start calling out people when they get questions and start doing the roundabout. We're not accepting the roundabout anymore.
Hey, Logic. I got a question, big bro.
I second that.
I was about to say, I don't know if you're looking for a second, but I ain't gonna stop you. I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna stop you. If it cleans up Dr. York activity, I don't know what he did because I wasn't here, but I don't know what he did that was that. But if it cleans up Dr. York activity and conversations, have at it. You got my full attention. Go ahead,
What's up with you, Haskell? How you doing today, bro?
I notice a recurring theme with you. You know, you kind of get frustrated with black folks. Like,
Oh,
kind of kind of pacifying themselves with feel goodism, and I think like that's one of your major things. You had spoke on what's the name a couple. I want to say like a month ago, Ibrahim Traore, man. I'm surprised we ain't dipped back in that well, because I know a lot of people right now, worldwide, a lot of black folks in the diaspora, they jumping up and down, and they're really excited. You feel me? But I know you wasn't too keen on that. You feel me? So I was trying to kind of like, speak on that right quick as to why you kind of look at the I guess the social media, hype or whatever regarding Traore, why you kind of look, you kind of, not
You talking
feeling.
about what I don't? You talking about what I don't like about him?
I don't think it's personal, but I mean, I remember you saying something like something about him being a dictator, shit like that.
Yeah. Did you know? You know how many massacres he's actually ordered? Do you know that?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
You heard of it? Are you so? Okay. Without getting into the numbers that were accounted for, number of bodies in the numerous amount of massacres. Like, so before we even move on to that, like, what do you think about that?
It get characterized differently, depending on who you speak to. So you speak to one group, they'll tell you, them was insurgents, as the U.S. call them, right? And another person would say those was, citizens, and he just massacred them. So that's what I would say to that. Like, you can't make no omelet without cracking some eggs. You feel me? And they got a lot.
So the numbers are over. They're in the thousands. So you trying to tell me that they had like documented evidence that all these people were what you call them, terrorists?
See, I don't know.
You think they did like a thorough investigation before they did that?
I mean, I'm sure they have their methods. So what is your contention that he gratuitously just murders innocent people for?
Well, I guess at this point I'm more trying to figure out, like, what are you saying? Are you saying he's not a dictator based on the massacres? Are you saying he's a good leader based on the massacres? Like, what are you saying?
From what I'm gathering, those wouldn't be characterized as massacres. They'd be characterized as casualties in combat.
Well, Wikipedia disagrees with you. They categorize them as massacres.
Me, a massacre. So, all right. So, just so we're clear, as far as what I understand a massacre to be, is typically like a government or some sort of organization or body, or it could just be regular people too, who just kind of gratuitous.
Right. So which is worse, right? If we got regular people.
Hold on. But there's a difference between that and combat, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so right now the given is, because we'd have to go to the Wikipedia articles and see exactly what it says. That's not hard. I'm working with my hands right now. I can't just get on the computer. But yes, so Wikipedia calls it massacres, and they actually give you the numbers of all the people that were killed during the particular massacres, and there's several of them, right? But there's one thing when you have just an angry group of people who might decide to go do whatever they do against another group of people. And I think it's a lot different when you have the person who's in charge of the military sending the military to perform this said massacre on its own civilians. That wouldn't you agree that's a totally different scenario?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's why I say that's where.
So how are you? Yeah, how are you getting good leadership?
These are villagers, women, and children. This isn't combat. This doesn't classify as two military forces or an insurgent force fighting another military force. He's killing women, children, and villagers. That's
with the military.
Well, the only thing they haven't proven is that the only thing they say, just to give a clear distinction, is that they're not. There's no. It's the military. It's the military, the Burkina Faso military, doing these acts, and he's the head of the military. But there's no record of him telling the military to do it. But the reason why they're giving him the credit, well, that's a terrible word, but the reason why they're giving him the responsibility of it is that he's the general, he's the head of the military. That means on multiple times over multiple years, the military would have had to have just gone rogue and just started killing villagers, women, and children. And he just don't know nothing about it. So that's why they always just make the extra leap past for saying he ordered.
So you read. So that's from an article that you're reading?
Yeah, no, these are articles, and the reason why you're not getting you asked an even better question. Elijah, you can get back to it because I'm going to step out. But the reason why you're not going to get the articles is that he's also gone the next step of when they've tried their hardest to amass strong evidence. And he won't allow his own people to investigate these massacres, and he won't allow an outside third party to investigate these massacres either.
So how did the article writers find out about it?
Because first, so what happened is there's drones. We live this 2025, and then part two, they have firsthand accounts of people that were there that got away. So that's why. So it's credible. This is credible sources. This is boots on the ground. This is people who survived. This is people who. There's a organization that covers that kind of stuff. They've asked, plainly, can we just come underground and do? He said no. So, but they do have people that have at hospitals that have taken, eyewitness investigation, as it was happening right after. And then people that have been in multiple villages, like left one village because their family was massacred, moved to another, and then it happened again. This is happening like 5, 6, 7, 8 villages, 150, 200 people at a time, like literally knocking on the door. Some of the eyewitness testimony is the soldier knocks on the door, asks a question, and shoots somebody in the head. Asks a question, shoots a child in the head. So,
do they venture if they're assuming that he's sanctioned by him, do they venture a motive for why they're doing that?
Well, 60% of Burkina Faso is not under state control. So they call them insurgents, and it sounds like a gangster name, but these are not all military. Like an insurgent, these are not all military insurgents. So, for example, the same way we're pulling illegal immigrants out, Haskell, it would be like, we have a strong immigration policy to quote unquote try to get back in control of the United States. But instead of putting them on planes and sending them back, we're asking, do you have your ID? No, it's shooting you. Like he's trying, like he's there's a population issue because more than half of this country isn't under his control. So he's trying to, like, some of this is like pre-combat type of stuff. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a heavy concentration of these people in this area that are insurgents. Now they might not be taking place in insurgency, but just their nationality, their birth makes them a member of the other part, similar to the Hutus and to that conversation. And but he's killing them, like with no kind of regard, these are human rights things. And then the fact that he's not allowing his own people to investigate or a third party is what's making it worse.
Okay.
You got any retort for that?
Huh?
I said, you got any retort for that? Or?
Nah, because really,
I don't think he's trying to win nothing. I think he's trying to like get information. I don't think he's trying to win. I think it's more learning.
I don't know. He did kind of start with this whole plight of black people, and I ain't with it. And so he started out with some division. He put me on one side, on him on the other. But he, you know what I'm saying? So to say he ain't trying to do something, he trying to do something.
Okay, yeah, I didn't catch the first part. I'm going in and out of this conversation.
Logic always thinks. Logic, he says somebody always out to get you, huh?
So you didn't have. Come on, guy. All right, maybe you were just joking. I got you, but you said it.
Nah,
yeah,
meaning you know, everybody kind of has their thing. You feel me? And like what I've identified, your thing is like you kind of, and I kind of agree with it too. Like I think black folks do like, you know what I'm saying?
No, you actually have.
Like,
you got my premise wrong. I'm gonna let you finish and then I'll explain it.
Yeah, because I want to hear what Haskell.
A lot of us, we are enamored with like symbolism and, you know what I'm saying? You know, symbology and certain leaders and kind of, you know, making a messiah out of people. And, you know what I'm saying? I think that is something that's been a kind of a bane for us, you know, for the, you know, a good few decades. So, you know, that's why I was asking a question as to, you know, homeboy, what his name is? Buddy in Burkina, you know? Because I heard you speak on him. I wanted to see where you was, you know, where you was coming from with it.
No, more of what I'm saying is an attempt to try to curb what's called learned helplessness, right? So it puts me at a very like a contentious line between making this argument about black people need to XY do something in lieu of or despite of these adversities. You know what I'm saying? That's like the bottom line to it is in spite of the adversity, right? I guess in the secondary point was doing something. So, and I'm saying that when you sometimes there's a particular way that people have these conversations that doesn't typically lead to doing something and seems to fit a lot better in what's considered learned helplessness. So that's more of what I'm actually trying to do. So whatever you think I'm trying to do, maybe I could use some critique on how I could do it better. But ultimately, that's what I'm trying to do.
The learned helplessness. What that mean?
Learned helplessness. I don't even want to summarize this. I actually stepped outside. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Bro, did you just say you're trying to help people get to a state that you don't know what it is? I know you did not just say, because I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is learned helplessness? And you just said you're trying to get people to a state or something that you got to go look up. Because I was about to say, Logic, if you created a whole new psychological term, nigga, we about to get off this Discord and go to these schools and start getting some of this insurance money.
Learned helplessness
what that
is a psychological concept describing the behavior of individuals who experiencing repeated negative situations they couldn't control develop the belief that they're powerless to change these circumstances even when opportunities do arise. So you've basically to summarize that. Yes, you do know what that is. You can summarize that in all kinds of different ways, right? So what I'm saying is, yeah, in despite of, I kind of lost my actual train of thought. But all of that's actually saying is that you can exacerbate these negative experiences to where you begin to not promote doing. You get what I'm saying? So that's all I'm actually trying to do is maybe express the conversation in a way that does maybe kind of promote, hey, we can go out and be active despite of these things. Right? We are in control of these things, so let's go figure out what we can do with it. Right? Instead of you constantly focus on all the stuff that you're not in control of, which could exacerbate the problem.
Okay.
And Logic and Haskell, let's redo have somebody in the room that said, "Fuck them kids." Remember them kids I was telling you that Ibrahim killed, had ordered killed, or the military killed? We do have a "This is Kyle," who in a previous conversation said, "Fuck them kids, we at war." So that might be the person you might have a better conversation with when it comes to Ibrahim. Yeah, that's right, Kyle. I'm snitching, nigga. I am snitching, because that conversation, I gotta go find that and put that conversation back up, because I ain't never heard a man talk more vicious about.
Go. He said that was
I think it
Corey.
was Chef too. Not one of them. It was fucking kids. Oh, Corey. Okay.
But yeah, that's but that's
Nah,
what
it
I'm
was
trying to get
Kyle
at.
too. I didn't do that to you. That was Kyle.
Okay. But I think that's a different thing though, than because I think you do criticize like the the feel goodism stuff too, right?
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So I
do.
look at those things as different things, and
Now,
we're jumping up and down, going crazy, and oh, we love Ibrahim and other places in the diaspora too. Why do you think Black people around the world look at this Sahel alliance as being like this positive thing, you know what I mean? Like a forward movement for, like Black people in general. What you think is behind it?
just
You
because
ever heard the
everybody doing it
term
don't mean I
"a
should
win
do it.
is a win"? No, but I'm saying, you ever heard the term? But he's saying, why do they do? He
Yeah,
ain't saying
why
why
do
you
you
should.
think
He's saying no, because a win is a win. Asshole. A win is a win. And that's like you understand it too. When you get when your European is the dominant power,
Breaking up, Brad.
dreams of Pan-Africanism, implementation per se. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You see these dreams, you don't see much implementation of those three concepts. And there's many other concepts. Hebrew Israelite, anything with a color that looks like us, even if it ain't, we ain't all in agreement. You actually are seeing guys doing Pan-Africanism. You're seeing it. Like you're seeing Africa, like you're seeing like, okay, so and then I would suffice to say in that same argument that that's also why they're willing to look past a lot of the bullshit. Because I've always said Pan-Africanism would work, but it would work under a specific set of circumstances that I don't think Black people, any people, would be willing to do. Because you'd have to remove a certain set of, you'd have to remove some things in government, some things in society, and some of that would be knock on the door, and you'd have to kill people. You would,
Right.
because most people ain't going for that shit. Right? We had the communist conversation. Communism, it's never necessarily worked, but the main issue with it is everybody ain't communal. Everybody's not trying to give up something for somebody they don't know. Most people ain't trying to give up stuff for people they do know. So in order to implement Pan-Africanism, they're saying, well, because then one of the key tenets in Pan Africanism is
Brad, you full of shit, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Let me tell you
why you full of shit.
Hey, first off, can you just say good afternoon first, bro?
Nah, I gotta jump right into it, man. Ain't no good afternoon. It's about to be a bad afternoon.
Man. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you kill me. Go on and kill me, bro.
You sat here and said that Pan-Africanism, you can agree to the opinion that it would cause somebody to do this type of shit right there. But then you look at Abraham Toure in Africa, and you like, oh, that's just too bad. They can't do that. The white people didn't tell me to make these.
No, that's not what I said. You didn't hear the question. You got to hear Haskell's question. He said,
I didn't hear the question.
He said, even if it's just, I'm not saying I agree. I'm not even saying it's working. I'm saying they looking at Ibrahim as a win because they're seeing it in implementation. I'm not agreeing to none of that shit. I don't like none of it.
No,
a win is a win. Yeah. I'm not saying I agree to it. I'm not saying he's doing a good job. I'm gonna say it to you. I'm saying the reason why people are celebrating it is because when they look at that, that's a representation of them speaking truth to power, rejecting the West. And whether it's working, bad, whoever got to die, they wasn't going to look past certain shit. So no, I'm not agreeing to it. I'm just telling Haskell why people in the diaspora are like cheering this guy on and looking to him as this
not just them two, Brass, the other two states too that's in the AES.
Yeah, that's Sahel. Yeah, that's the hell. That's the Sahel line.
And Niger.
Yeah, Niger.
So y'all collectively don't feel like Africa should be resisting Western authority, and that Western authority is coming through. I mean,
I think
when I say West, I mean,
you talking about the whole continent or countries in Africa?
Yeah, like,
in a more
are you saying the continent or countries in Africa?
Both. I'm saying that, like,
they don't even all agree. So you can't do that. They don't all agree. The continent ain't unified. They don't all step for one thing.
That's why I said both, because it means the continent in general should resist the Western power, and each individual entity, each individual country should also resist power outside of their authority, outside of their reach. Because when you subject yourself to outside power, outside resources, outside management for your local businesses, your local resources, you're only going to be perpetually at the bottom of that triangle every time.
Are you saying when you reject the West, or when you reject? You just said, I don't know, because you're intelligence. I'm assuming you're just saying reject the West, not reject help or reject collaboration. You're just saying reject anything Western, because Ibrahim is definitely working with the Russians. That's clear. So you're saying don't reject any collaboration, just a Western collaboration.
Yeah, because I would say this, right? I would say when you dealing with the United States of America, or you're dealing with Western powers like France and England and Great Britain, whatever call it, but like these places, they what their intent is. At least with Russia, you don't know what their fucking intent is. They ain't did it to you yet, and so you're gonna get somebody to help you. At least get somebody who comes off that appears to be a natural alliance for you, instead of one that you know for a fact isn't. Like even when you had the American Army guy, the military guy that was speaking, he couldn't defend America's atrocities that they perform, and he couldn't even defend the fact that he was absolutely wrong on the things that America assumed about him. I sat down and watched the entire interview with him, and he was full of shit the entire time. And so, like,
he's a general in the U.S. military. He's full of shit. There ain't nothing he can say to us. There's nothing. I saw that same interview, and I saw his when he testified in front of the House. He can't. And I think they fired him on that particular thing, because he just doesn't. He doesn't present well at all. I agree with you there. He did a terrible fucking job.
Yeah,
no question.
And so, like, but that guy was the reason why all these conversations came up about the resistance and U.S. military and defense and stuff like that, because of his bullshit ass interview that mispropagated Western propaganda. And
I agree. I can't argue that. That was terrible. It was literally laughable. And then when you look at him, he looks laughable. Like I don't like
Yeah.
how you started questioning how the hell did he even become a general? I mean a general. How did he get there? How did he get the job?
You know why? And because the United States of America needed a black face to go there and take over that black space, and they're like, "Hey, you, my nigga, read this script and go say this shit to these goddamn black folks so we can get their money."
That motherfucker looked like Gomer Pyle. He couldn't answer simple questions. So no, it wasn't the best example. My whole thing, Kyle, and even one thing I added to it with Haskell, and you know this too. Social media and logic brings this up, and people confuse this argument all the time. But with social media, you really don't know. Like, there's so many things that are coming out in AI videos, and this is no disrespect to the diaspora, because this could happen to a knowledgeable person or an unknowledgeable person. These AI videos have a lot to do with this too, Haskell, and most of them ain't true. There's a propaganda machine behind this Ibrahim thing. That's a Russian tactic. The United States does it too, but Russia is like top of the line at that shit. Similar to how they was disputing COVID and how they was fucking with the elections. There's been a campaign of like things that just never happened. You know what I'm saying? That have been credited to Ibrahim. Different things with the gold mines, different things with the electronic cars, different things as far as
thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, AI generated videos of just madness, so that when you're talking to somebody, they're telling you like, well, he did this and he did that, and then you don't even want to do the conscious community thing, the show me a source type shit, because if you did, they're not listening to you, because then now that's where Logic, when we was having this conversation before, that's why they was killing Logic, because Logic was actually bringing the facts of he did this, this, and this, he didn't do this, this, and this, and then when it's a black person kind of like giving you clarity on this, the Pan-Africans at the time don't want clarity. They want you to shut the fuck up, let them feel good, and now Logic and or me probably in the conversation about Ibrahim, we're the motherfuckers that's trying to make them feel bad, or the narrative is we just don't think black people can handle themselves, and we need the big bad West to come in and somehow, you know what I mean, deal with it. And that's where I agree with Kyle at that point. I do think there's a certain level you have to reject. If you're trying to be your own country, not your own continent, but if you're trying to be your own country and build something essentially from scratch, then you got resources, you got this, you're trying to play on the world stage, I would reject a certain portion of the West, but I wouldn't completely reject the West, simply because when you reject the complete West, you're making your job almost impossible in this time, 2025. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but that's when I know for a fact the United States will make it almost impossible for you to do your job. Impossible. You won't be able to do it. So there's a certain level of Kyle, and I know you know the word because you lead people. There's a certain level of diplomacy you're going to need too, not just military might. That's why generals don't make great presidents, because there's a certain level of political maneuvering you got to do too. You can't do everything with blunt force. It doesn't work that way. Not on a world stage. Not with the resources that he has. He has resources in them two other countries, Mali and Niger. They have resources that the world needs. It would make sense for you to don't make fake electronic factories. Just make real ones. But you're going to need outside intelligence to do that. It won't all come from
the biggest mistake a lot of great, amazing leaders do is that they change their leadership style based on the appearance they want to have for other people. And so, like Ibrahim, like his leadership style, he clearly has the country behind him. He's doing things right now, and the people they will run through a brick wall for him. And when you get to that point, and then when you say what the AI fake videos, because you want to extend your leadership style, no, you need to focus on what you already have been doing. You got to be great at 2 out of 3 things. You can't like the triangle goes. You can be the best, you can be the cheapest,
or you could be the fastest. You know what I'm
And
saying?
nobody in here besides me and Elijah probably know what you're talking about. So now that you brought it up, can you explain it?
Okay, so like when you're a leader, you can't be good at everything, right? And so what media is trying to do with Ibrahim is make him good at everything. You could be a strong leader, you could be a good voice of your people, or you could be whatever else. You could be a social leader or have social care, right? You can't do all three things. And what media is trying to do is make him all three things. And that's what. And when you do that, for most people, it's a red flag because it's not logical. You don't necessarily, you don't have the ability to be a people person and a strong dictator or a strong military leader at the same time, because those two things are counterproductive and they go against each other. But when media portrays that image, it makes people say, hold on for a second, this don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? It's like
explain the triangle. Explain the triangle.
Yeah, the triangle is basically it's based on the business development. It's based, but the triangle basically means you could do, for you to be successful at any business, you can pick 2 out of the 3 things in the triangle. You can be the best, you can have the highest quality, or you can be the fastest, right? Those are 3 things in the triangle that we'll pick for this particular example. If you're the best, you're not going to be the fastest, so they count you out right there. If you're the cheapest, or I don't even forget. I've got the damn 3 that I said. the best,
fastest, and best.
Yeah, if you're gonna be the cheapest, you're not gonna be the best because you're just slapping up quality, non-quality material. Now you could be the fastest and the cheapest, but you're not gonna be the best. You could be the fastest and the best, but you're not gonna be the cheapest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how the quality triangle matrix goes. It comes from a book that's
go ahead.
Done like in 1980, whatever, like a business development book. But that's it breaks down how businesses have to choose, and corporations and politicians have to choose areas of their attack strategy. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a strategy going into it, and some things are counterintuitive to other things when you try to roll them out on a long-term scale.
It's called triple constraint. That's how I learned.
I wasn't familiar with the actual term, but yeah, in short, you can't have the best product and be mass producing it faster than people who
that's why businesses
who are producing or a lesser quality item. They can do it faster. That's just the trade-off for quality or mass production. Like that's just it. So that's basically what he's saying now. I mean, and I don't really know what to say about the Abraham Traore thing. Like I get where he's coming from. I just don't, like, for me, I see it as like I'm happy that Black people are happy about it. I don't know if they're happy about, like, yeah, I'm happy that they're happy.
If what they're happy about is real. I really happy about is real. Just say it. You're happy that they're happy, but you don't know what they're happy about.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I'm not sure if they're happy about what's actually happening. I'm not sure if I ask them what they're happy about, I don't think that person knows about the massacres, and you know what I'm saying. I don't think that they are.
I don't think that the massacres, to be honest with you, with the tour, anybody who's happy for the reason they happy, because like those massacres are not massacres against his own. Like his own ethnic tribal group, they're a massacre against people who are oppressing them in their, like, we went down this rabbit hole before.
Yeah,
this is why we got to the fuck them kids.
That's when you said fuck them kids. Yeah,
this is how we got to the fuck them kids situation.
That's how I know you said it, because you got so frustrated. You then finally said, you know what? Listen, fuck them kids. We trying to make progress. There's progress being made. And them ain't his kids. You said them ain't his kids. Fuck them kids. I remember you said that, Kyle. It's
a possibility that somebody said that. Well, I'm not going to agree or deny. I'm just going to blame Country Corey for that argument.
That's cold. That's messed up, man.
Nigga said, I don't know.
Why my nigga Corey why he gotta take that charge like that? That's crazy.
But now here's the thing. This is why I want some kind of corrective. Like now, when you say there's even the charges, because Haskell, I'm talking to Haskell, to all of us too. Remember the part that Kyle just said is intriguing, right? Because you can kind of say, well, he must be doing a good job because his people love him. But therein lies the issue Kwame Nkrumah, Lumumba, all of them had. You don't know how much the people love him when the penalty for not loving them is jail or death.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
I don't know how much, especially when, now here's the thing, he's not just rejecting the West, Haskell, and Gael, well, you know the same. So Haskell, he's also, his own media has been silenced. His own detractors have been jailed and killed. So you don't know per se, you only know to a certain extent what they allow you to know. So yeah, it sounds like his people love him, but do they love you if they know that if they don't, in the middle of the night, your ass gonna get pulled out of your house? So that's the whole dictator piece where I agree with Kyle, a certain level of it, but Kyle, you know this too, and this is in business and in politics. To a general, everything is a nail and he's a hammer. And that's not diplomacy. To run a country, you got to have a certain level of diplomacy. And that's why I asked for the clarification. Are you talking about Africa? Are you talking about the individual countries within Africa? Because to be quite honest, he's fighting a war on multiple fronts. He's not just rejecting the West. He's rejecting damn near the rest of Africa. He's rejecting anything the Pan-African leadership in Africa, he's rejecting. He don't want nothing to do with the AU, nothing. He's saying that they're controlled by the West. And anybody that agrees with the AU, he rejects them. With King Faisal, it ain't just the Sahel Alliance. This motherfucker said he wants to run the whole continent of fucking Africa. And I'm curious as to how he's going to do that without mass murder. Like you would have to do war on a scale we can't even grasp.
It just sounds too much like far right.
No, that's a goal. I'll go get a source, but that's a goal for him.
I don't disagree with you. It just sounds a lot like far right, and that has been problematic. You know, if I'm not mistaken, throughout like decades. I mean, not decades, but we're talking centuries at this point. When countries get too far right, they typically have issues.
I'm gonna need a source on that, big brother.
No problem. You got Hitler's Germany.
America to control their country.
No. I'm talking about as far as saying that
that's no problem, bro. There's all kind of examples of that. You can
to be supreme ruler of Africa and some shit. Right?
No, I didn't say. I didn't say supreme. His goal. No. Listen. His how can I do this? I'll find the article, right? But I want you to understand something too in this article. You would have to also now just use your mind before I get to the article. If he's rejecting the West and he's rejecting the AU, now the AU's goal, great. The AU's goal is what? Pan-Africanism. That's the truest form of Pan-Africanism I think they're trying to do on the planet. That's the African Union. He's against them. He's saying that yes, we can all unify under a Pan-Africanist system, but it has to be everybody. Because everybody is kind of like distancing themselves from him, but he's a powerful brother. So now that he's working with Mali, now that he's working with Niger, the Sahel Alliance, I'll get the article for you. I'm not saying he's going to be the person that's going to rule the thing. He just wants all of the African countries under one system. One. So that there is no like, Zimbabwe's doing this, this place is doing that, Mozambique's doing this. He wants similar to, I guess, like a capitalist society. He wants everybody under the same thing. I will not say that he's trying to be the supreme ruler of the whole thing. That I'm not. I won't go that far. Because the second part, the last part of Haskell 2, is you're always going to have to deal with, what was the conversation you was having the other day about primary sources? There aren't no primary sources coming out of Africa right now, at least from that area, because everything has to be an inference based on statements, but you don't know if the statement is true. So any source I would get you, the argument would always be, well, how you know that that's true? And they would be 100% right to say that. But I know he rejects the AU, and I know he wants a system. I don't know if it's him that's supposed to run this whole thing. I hope not, because I don't think a general that lacks diplomacy per se should be in charge of anything other than like a debate club or like a conscious community group or something like that. You could do that, but to run a country on this planet and try to do global politics, you can't just be a general. You can't want to kill everything. Like I want to do this. We don't want to do it, then kill it. That can't be the solution. Then I mean, that's just my opinion as a human.
Here goes what Congress has to say, right? And this was updated in May 15th from the Congressional Research Service. So it says, Burkina Faso has been under military rule since 2022, part of a wave of coups in the Sahel and West Africa. The military seizure of power put an end to Burkina Faso's brief tenure as an emerging democracy and rising U.S. regional security partner. I'm gonna just tell you, Brass, the way my thing is slanted, right?
Okay.
After reading that sentence right there, I'm pretty much kind of predisposed to like anything negative that's gonna be in this is U.S. propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
Bingo. Okay. I can't because I can't tell the difference. So I just told you, I don't know what's real and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know. But I do know this. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say that's just me knowing, just United States history and how they operate geopolitically. You know what I'm saying? The language they use is like, oh, we had such high hopes for them. The military seizure of power put an end to Burkina Faso's brief tenure as an emerging democracy and rising U.S. regional security partner. So I just can't help but think when I read
general trying to push on them too, man. Like this.
Yeah.
Say it again, Kyle.
I said that's the same shit that black general that got fired was trying to push.
Yeah, the fucking Langley. He was a bad decision. I don't know. He don't even present well. When you look at him, and this is no disrespect to just his parents, but he just looks stupid. When he gets in front of a camera, the only credible thing about him is when you look at the stripes and the suit. Once he starts talking, it's like he ain't even like a parrot of the United States. It's like he just it's like just certain things that you just know you shouldn't say on camera. You know what I mean? Like it's like you have even generals have marketing because he just doesn't have good marketing here. But go ahead.
But I mean, the U.S. basically just thought we'll just, find the closest, the closest black guy we got, just, send them on down there, get these niggas back in line, So
Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, I was going to say, at the end of the day, I live in the United States, right, and I benefit off, what goes on in the United States and all the plunder and spoils of war, right. So that's some fucked up irony right there. But at the same time, just knowing how the U.S. has operated, man, for the last probably couple 100 years, this is about self-interest at the end of the day. So when I see them talking about the ruling junta has reshaped Burkina's foreign defensive relations, as have counterparts in neighboring Mali and Niger. These countries have curtailed cooperation with former colonial power France, formerly a key partner in U.S.-supported counterterrorism operations, and has strengthened ties with Moscow. You feel me? So I just know it's just
It's like Sankara. It's like Sankara, like Nkrumah. It's like this isn't a new story. Like you can look at those two. So he quotes Sankara.
Could we possibly be overlapping his like outward expression of I don't want to be participating with the West as like we're looking at that as him doing the right thing for his country? You know what I'm saying? Like just because he might not have he broke out the West don't necessarily mean like he's now trying to, you know, get on the whatever agenda you got going on, right? Because like to me, what I just said was actually right. I done looked it up. I'll read it when I get a second. But we're actually watching him like not do the stuff that you would, you know, kind of want him to do, right? Like he's actually like just because he didn't like private he done made Burkina Faso private and you know we don't have access to report on what the fuck that they doing. Like that's not an automatic, hey, he's doing what I think he's doing. I'm saying what I think he's doing. There can't be that. There definitely can't be that. And long story short, right?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so long story short, it shows that when countries move too far right, you typically see an erosion of democratic norms. You see a social polarization. That's an emphasis on nationalism and exclusive political trends, which leads to xenophobia, racial tension, and civic unrest, economic instability, the decline of international cooperation, and authoritarian drift. So, like, none of those would be positive for the citizens of Burkina Faso. None of them.
He rejected the French colonialism and then listen, remember, he wasn't the original coup. So it was a coup of a coup. So and a junta is not a race of people. A junta is just a military group that holds the government by force. So it does a coup and then holds it by militaristic force. That's a junta. But the thing is there was a president in place working with the French, and then I think the guy's name is Damiba. He exacted a junta on that president, and then Traore he exacted a junta on him, saying that you know, because like we said, 60% of it is outside of his state control. So he was saying that even though this guy got that president out for the right reasons, I got to get him out because he's not taking care of the insurgency. My only issue, Haskell, and I'm doing this from a very privileged, vacational American arrogance, right? So that's why my statement probably sounds completely American. But from what I see in my limited information is that he rejected French colonialism and then he began colonizing his own people. Because even with Nkrumah, when they rejected France and had the Independence Day and this, that, and the other, he at least tried to do the democracy. Like he at least tried it to try to, you know, do a vote, you know, vote for the leaders, this, that, and the other.
Who's that you said?
Kwame Nkrumah. And then when they tried to do the democracy, he saw that it wasn't going the way that he wanted it to go. And he sat in the room. He said, I got all the military. I control the media. I'm going to just install myself as president for life. Who the fuck could do anything about it? But he at least tried once they got rid of the colonizers to do a democracy. He tried it. And he said, fuck that. But with Ibrahim, he didn't even try. He got rid of one junta to then become the junta. And he don't give a damn. Now, here's the thing. If you're saying that his people don't have a fucking problem with it, I don't see how they couldn't. But if you're saying that his people don't have a problem with it, I'll stay out of their fucking business. Like Kyle said, we should mind our fucking business. But I also am smart enough to know that if we could look at historical trends, absolute power has always corrupted absolute. So when you got any area, especially people of our color, right? that could be subject to some dictatorship type shit, like the worst of the dictatorship, where you just gotta love this motherfucker or you gonna die. And he's just committing atrocities and making up fake accomplishments. You know, we got our own car, electronic cars, it's just some Chinese shit with our name on, like all these things. Then you have to throw some kind of question to it, especially if he's suppressing his own media and not allowing any other media to come in. So it gets a little crazy because now he's the colonizer. And this goes back to, I hate to say this, to a previous conversation of Black supremacy versus white supremacy. Is it okay because he's the supremacist and it's not the French doing it? Or are they both wrong? Or is it actually worse when you get away from the French, you get away from quote unquote Western democracy, and then you put somebody in charge that does the same exact shit? It gets a little, I don't know. But I do agree with Kyle. If his people do love him and they're okay with it, if the people are okay with it, I can't necessarily say I have a right to speak, but I don't have a right to say, they're stupid, this, that, and the other, because I do understand if 60% of your fucking country is under an insurgency, you are always going to be on some military shit, but I don't think you should open doors and shoot children. I don't think that that's an acceptable form of combat, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm a Western American that's never had to face that. So I can admit that.
The truth of the matter is, ain't none of us on the ground, you know what I'm saying, to really know what's going on like that. So you basically just got to kind of glean like what you can from reports and articles and shit like that. And then everybody got agendas and motives and shit. And you know what I mean? So you can never, all governments engage in propaganda.
I agree.
All of them.
In the words of Concrete Corey, fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. Yeah, I already know.
Y'all would have to admit that the whole locking up of the opposite political party and jailing and all of that kind of stuff. Is that concerning to y'all?
No, because if you did that to my family, I don't have a fucking problem whatsoever to do that to you. This is how
I'm talking about the other political people.
That's what they.
He doesn't care.
I don't
remember
care.
We had this conversation already. They don't care. We don't even got to rehash it. I can pull up the other show and just play it. He doesn't.
So are none of the other political groups? None of the other political groups are the same group as him. They divide their politics by ethnic group.
He's not a political group. He's the military.
I'm saying, but he did jail the political parties. I'm saying that both of those the other parties were both the enemy, or they were just
he jailed another ethnic group that was standing up against.
No, he's talking about the people that were going to run against him. He ain't talking about the insurgents.
Yeah, I'm talking about the politicians.
He's talking about the politicians that could be president besides him. He just got rid of them. He silenced them or locked them up or killed them.
Take them out, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, look, and that's why. You got to remember, we were having a moral conversation, right? We were having a moral political conversation. Kayela is having a man, just get the shit done type conversation. Like whatever you got to do right now to get the shit done, we'll see how it plays out and see if the ends justify the means. I completely understood the conversation. That's why I know it's Kayela. Because it's only going to take a matter of time before he's going to say, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care. I mean, I already know, bro. We talking about this shit for 6 hours. I'm going to find the video and play that shit. By the way, thank you for that, bro, that damn Greek video we did, we might got to do something else because just the replay got 400 views.
Damn.
And that's impressive because that's a replay. And that's in the morning. I played it today or yesterday. I played you on Logic Show. The PowerPoint, I like how you do your PowerPoints because people engage in that shit. But even that got like 300 or 400 views. And I ain't even cut it in the shorts yet. So the people want to see you, Kyle. The people want to see you.
Well,
I'm like Abraham, you know what I'm saying, Touré, you know, about American people, man. You know what I'm saying? I represent, you know what I'm saying. Let me stop for here, bro.
Yeah, I see. I was like, I'm just saying.
Nah, you know, hey.
No, I get it. I understand where y'all coming from. That's why I stopped fighting y'all. Because I don't really have an argument for that. If y'all are saying, like Haskell said, if based on history, we saw what happened. Lumumba, you could throw Castro in there. You could throw what's the other guy that killed him in the street, Haskell? Fucking, we watched the man die on TV. They had them all in the truck, beating the shit out of them and all that. What was his name?
Saddam Hussein?
No, not Hussein. He was hiding in a hole. The other guy.
No, they beat that nigga on TV too. I seen that shit my own.
No. I'm talking about they killed this nigga on TV. Saddam Hussein got hung. I'm talking about the people killed this motherfucker on TV. It was the crazy.
Talking about Muammar Gaddafi. Talking about Gaddafi.
Yeah, Lumumba. They put Lumumba's body in what? Fucking, what is he in, like 80 places? They said they cut him up and put him in 80. Like, I understand the visceral response when the West is saying anything about somebody outside the United States. It's completely warranted. I don't know how much of it is true, but the visceral response of what happens to leaders that reject the West, I completely understand. It's just when they start rejecting their own people too, that's a red flag.
But why is it? This is what I understand, right? Y'all can help me out. Why is it that we respond differently when the same efforts, the same amount of horror is implemented at a larger scale from the United States, but when they do it on a small scale at African countries, because they're also trying to establish the same power and economy, and they're trying to do the exact same thing that we've done here. Like, why is it so visceral? But when it's done by a small African or a small dark-skinned country,
one mic and y'all can respond.
Because you don't expect Africans to portray the oppressions we've seen here.
Mm-hmm. Simple statement: Black supremacy is worse than white supremacy. I would hope that we could get in power and not do that.
What? Hold on.
I'm just saying it. No, I don't know. I can say it quicker than Mel. Black supremacy.
I'm trying to keep myself out this because I get to summarizing arguments, and I know that can get me in trouble because what it sounds like is it sounds like you're saying black people need a Hitler.
Damn.
No. Stay away from that.
You got like, where the bombs at? Hold on, where the bombs at? I ain't got my what's the name? That you nigga, you are a media team in and of yourself.
That is
you can say things that are just.
What is it?
We could do 10 shows off that statement.
A rock throwing hand-high niggas right there.
If we saw a Hitler, would we root for him just because he was black?
Okay.
Yeah, let's come back to the topic. We don't need no Negro Hitler.
Yeah, like that was why I'll even say, but what I am personally, no one can name a country that was established diplomatically. They don't exist. Like, no nigga be like, hey, look, let me get this land. I'll be your friend. Nigga, he took the land. That's how every country started, right? And so when someone's trying to take your land from you, how do you properly respond to that in a 2025 diplomatic way that doesn't include you fucking killing this nigga? Because I don't know of any ways how to do that, because that's how fucking patriarchal societies have always been. You kill a nigga.
They're not sorry to cut you, bro, but they're not talking about that. They talking about the reports about them offing children and
that's exactly what I'm talking about, Haskell. Because the reason why he was killing them little bastard kids, because them little bastard kids were trying to kill his people. Yeah, you might be right, Burns.
I know I was right because you said that was the term you used. It was
God,
that's why
damn, this nigga Kyle, bro.
I said, bro, I said you talking about the
Kyle got his things
you
out today.
I said, bro,
knives and AK-47s
no,
and was
bro, that's exactly what you
So
said. I said you talking about the kids, Kyle, and you was like, them bastard
Man,
kids got knives,
yeah.
AK-47s, and grenades. That's exactly what you said.
That was me. That was me. Now I'm back. Fuck them kids like country. If kids want to kind of kill our people, man.
hey, that's a good
But
point.
you know,
that
you made that argument before, though. You
that's
made
a
that
that's a
argument
good point
before.
that he making though.
It's not a
Brad.
good point
I
because
don't
he made it.
know.
It's not
I
a good
don't know.
point.
I don't know if what he's saying is the case,
It
but
isn't.
it's no. But this is
No,
what I'm
it
saying.
is. It is the case. We showed
Hold
it
on,
last time. We showed it last time.
hold on.
I didn't want to talk about it in
reading,
detail.
I was just reading on Google that they had one incident where they said 56 children were terminated. Right now, I wouldn't be shocked at all to find out like the average age of them 15-year-olds was like, the average year old of them 56 people was like 15, 16 years old, right? And they all dudes. You feel me? I would not be shocked at all. Cause that's the type of manipulation that is typical of like Western journalism. So technically it's correct. They are technically children, right? Because they're under 18 by our law, but they don't give the added context that these motherfuckers is some 15 and 16-year-olds that's soldiers.
Yeah, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that these little kids are part of Al Qaeda and they're part of these different extremist groups in West Africa. Their families are the Fulani people that have historically oppressed these people, and they in boot camp trying to learn how to be the best terrorists to these African tribal groups that they can possibly. They don't tell you that, but all you gotta do is just read and understand what tribal groups are in that area. Understand their relationships, and then understand the reason for these different coups and these different rebellions has happened because these Fulani and these Islamic groups have been historically oppressive of these groups, and really much in that entire area. This is why the whole area is uprising. And that's where he gets so much backing from his local people, because the local people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. Somebody is finally standing up.
Thank you for killing that nigga.
But y'all only see the fact that they're dark skinned and they dark skinned too. But you don't understand that all niggas, all skin folks ain't kin folks. These people can be living in your same area, can be just as dark as you, and can be oppressing you because they believe in Islam and they trying to kill all the fucking Christians. They're trying to kill all the local people.
Haskell, stay right there. Hold on.
And this is why they went door to door and asked them, "Are you part of the Fulani group?" And they killed these kids because these people were known to be in terrorist groups.
All right, real quick. So Kyle said last time the thing about no countries established in a democratic way. I thought that's what you were saying when I was saying it's incorrect, because last time we brought up, I'm looking for it, the conversation when we had it, but last time we brought up countries in Africa that were established. Okay, it was Botswana from 1966 till today, called Africa's longest running democracy. Senegal, though Senghor ruled long, Senegal avoided coups and maintained a competitive political culture. Mauritius, multi-party democracy since its independence. Namibia since 1990, stable electoral democracy after independence from South Africa. Were they all vicious? Not all, but a lot.
None of those places that you just named had any type of internal fighting whatsoever. It was just because it had already happened. Can you?
No, I was just saying. I was just showing. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying there are countries that were established over there in a democratic manner. But let me get to the kids.
But hold on. But can you admit though? Because let's be clear. Can you admit that those countries? And I'll acquiesce to your point. Those countries was definitely established in a non-violent manner.
Yes.
After the violence had already happened.
Yes. Okay. I won't. Yeah. No question.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I was saying that's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. Also, so to answer this question about the kids, so there's a group called the Human Rights Watch. It's independent of everybody. It's an independent group of the countries. This is the people that you call in when the West is trying to shade something and you want what actually happened, or when someone else is trying to shade something on the ground. They'll listen to them. They'll listen to whatever came from the West, and they tend to meld in. These are the Human Rights Watch people. You see them, they drop them in the helicopters, and they go get eyewitness testimonies. They have their own investigators. So this is the reports from Human Rights Watch. In the massacres, like Nandin and Soro in February 2024 and April 2023, Karma, witnesses consistently testified that women and children were among the victims. However, they noted that many of those executed were unarmed villagers and children as young as 6 or 7 years old. In Bidgu and Sualamu, February 2024, they were wiping out entire families, no evidence of them being combatants, no military weapons in the home, or markings to establish them as Al-Qaeda. Now, so then I said, I went to Haskell's point, were there murders of babies? Were there any eyewitness testimonies of babies being murdered? And how could these not be soldiers if they were 6 or 7 years old and able to carry a gun? It says, yes, eyewitness testimonies confirm that babies and even younger children were killed in several of the other massacres. They could not have been soldiers. Let me walk you through. I'm going to make it as fast as possible. The Human Rights Watch report documented interviews with survivors and people who passed. Soldiers rounded up entire families and executed them. Villagers recounted that infants were shot while strapped to their mothers' backs, and toddlers were gunned down with the adults. One survivor said they killed everyone. Men, women, children, even babies, and no one was spared. There were unarmed civilians and no evidence.
How did the survivor was spared? The person telling the story.
Because there were, were people.
Good point. Got him.
Yeah.
Nah,
okay.
that's not a gotcha. That's
That's not a gotcha.
That's funny.
There are people, some of this testimony, because I've seen it in Human Rights Watch is how we found out about basically Hotel Rwanda. Yeah. Remember
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Brad.
Hold on. Before we get away from it. I'm going to be quick. I only got like a minute. Nick Nolte, that's what would be classified as Human Rights Watch. Remember Nick Nolte when he was helping Don Cheadle in
yeah, but I thought he worked for the UN.
No, but the people with the cameras, not Nick Nolte himself.
Oh yeah.
Remember there were the people with the cameras that's with him? And remember they tried to kill those other people, the white people that was there? That was Human Rights Watch. So it says they were eliminating entire households indiscriminately. The survivors they're talking about, Haskell, are people that they were injured, being treated, that may have eventually died. But then there were also survivors. So it's similar to a plane crash. There were no survivors. Where did the people, whatever that joke was before. So it's not when they say everyone, I don't think they mean literally 100 out of 100. I'm sure 10 people got away that saw it from a distance or were hid in the house or whatever. So it says why they cannot be soldiers though, Haskell. This is the most important part. Babies and toddlers lack the capacity to be combatants. Even in conflict zones where children exist, they are usually adolescents and infants or small children that don't take part in anything, like in parts of the Congo or Sierra Leone. Killing babies and toddlers isn't justified even in African combat. That's considered genocide under their law and international humanitarian law. So when you're shooting toddlers in the name of saying that they were somehow grow up and be functioning soldiers of Al-Qaeda, now that's a massacre. And I don't care. I don't care about who.
That's the thing. It's like
kids is a little rough.
Normally,
y'all talking about Burkina Faso?
Conversation.
Yeah, we're talking about Burkina Faso.
Oh yeah, that's a ugly topic, bro. That dude is
Like,
a wild dude, bro.
I think that we should pick a starting spot that's.
I gotta
fair
step out
for-
the conversation. Y'all gotta moderate it. I can only listen. I can't talk after
No,
this.
no,
So somebody
I
else
want
gotta
you.
moderate.
Well, he suppressed the
No. Go
media
ahead. I'm
down
just
there.
telling them they gotta run it. I'm just telling somebody else, like, y'all gotta run it. The
No,
one mic and the mute.
I appreciate, and I don't even rebuttal or dispute anything that you just said. But I'm saying change your starting spot of research, right? So instead of researching in depth the response that people had is historically, research in deep in the same depth the actions that was taken upon those people that made them respond. Because I've actually done that, and I see just as many atrocities that happened on the precursor, on the offensive side before these people defended themselves. So like that's the point that I want to make, because those things are terrible, but those are terrible ass responses to what happened to them. And that's what I would challenge you all to do, is look how these Fulani people, how these Islamic extremist groups in West Africa have killed people's kids. We definitely watched about 10 years ago the fucking Boko Haram kidnap a whole Nigerian village of women, of little girls, and kill them and rape them. We watched this. But now all of a sudden, we got to start at a response. We got to start the response.
Well, as horrible as America is at times, they still are willing to treat people as individuals for their crimes, right? And then
We don't. This ain't in America, bro.
Even if we, right? So even if we look at immigration in America, right? I know it's not exactly the same thing, but they're still, I guess you would consider them unwanted citizens, or however you would look at them, for the argument's sake. We remove them from the country. We don't shoot them in the head.
No. Well, see, that's why I don't.
America is off the chain, right?
Logic. Help me out for a second, bro. Make your response make sense to me, because I'm talking about Boko Haram and I'm talking about Burkina Faso in Africa, and your response to that is America. These are not the same continent, and definitely not the same country. They'll go by completely different laws, right? And my question for you is, have y'all looked into the atrocities that these people of Boko Haram and Al Qaeda and this one more group that I forgot the name of it off the top of my head right now, it's 4 letters, but they have committed to this exact ethnic group of people that have responded by killing them and killing their kids? Like, have y'all looked into that? Because I personally have, and they did this to them first for a longer period of time and have historically oppressed these people. And so you cannot determine the person's response to being under these kind of conditions.
You can when that dude is now a government leader.
So
it's different when he was just the leader of a
like,
militant group. Like, we acting like he got elected, like he didn't coup his way into power.
You're talking about sanctioned violence against citizens. Like that's. I get what you're saying. You want to get your lick back.
He suppressed all media. He terminated all elections.
If you shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot back at you all day.
He's a government leader.
You're well within your right to get your lick back.
Why they can't get their lick back, man? Like that's the thing. Like, y'all judging. Like, I don't like. I'm listening to these
man parading like.
Hold on.
But they getting their lick back on some of them people who didn't do it.
Hold on. It would be one thing if y'all said that both sides are committing complete atrocities.
We know they have. We know those jihadist groups.
Y'all niggas have never said that both sides are wrong. Y'all have only said the response has been wrong. And that's why I'm so confused by y'all niggas, because y'all niggas have not pointed out one finger at the fucking people who have been terrorizing these groups and think y'all shouldn't have not done that. Y'all have not.
That's what you're trying to do. You're the one trying to justify atrocities.
I'm not trying to justify. I'm trying to.
Okay, that's the wrong word.
Y'all think it's okay?
Wrong word. You do have
I don't think anyone ever said that it was okay for any atrocity.
I don't know if you're not trying to justify it, but you're kind of like trying to give a reason why that shit.
Why do y'all?
One mic.
Y'all feel like, you know what it feel like? It feel like, y'all watch the cop videos when the white lady call the police and they only take one side of the story, but they don't understand that the lady spit on this black dude and called him a nigga before he backhanded her. Y'all don't see none of that shit in y'all point of view. Y'all don't see none of it. And y'all just making the decision. Oh man, he shouldn't have hit her. Oh man, they shouldn't have
you know
why
we can't see it because he suppressed the media down there. You ain't saying nothing about that.
Yeah, right. Hey, said, do you know why none of us have ever sat in here and said, yeah,
he gonna take out the French and fight the Russians the next day. Oh, that's a big change.
Killing the babies now. But the reason why we never said it is because it's just wrong to kill the babies on both sides.
Right. Why haven't you said that though? Y'all are intentionally painting the picture that the African people that are revolting against the Arabs are somehow inherently worse people than the people who are.
I didn't know. That's not all Arab groups. Those are other.
That's the most craziest coon shit I've ever heard, bro. I don't mean to call y'all coon,
but that's a
I'm just saying that when you turn your own people.
Man, go ahead. Get it off. Pause. Get it off. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Because this is what you did last time. You spazzed out. Hold on. Nobody is saying that Burkina Faso is somehow worse than Fulani's. We never used that term. We never did. And the only reason
why have y'all never?
You know why we never did?
Because he's a government leader now, bro.
The only people
you're not a militant leader now. You're a government leader.
You're not allowing us to answer
any type of murder or atrocities against the people.
Answer your question,
have been me and Corey. None of y'all have ever. Y'all always take the side of the Islamic people that have historically oppressed them. Y'all. A month and a half ago, y'all took the side of the U.S. and now that nigga got debunked and got fired, y'all like, yeah, man, y'all was right on that one.
No, I just said he was stupid. I just said he was stupid. I don't. But hold on. None of us have ever said, just so we can say this, so you can't keep saying that. I thought y'all see you and Corey made a statement that none of us would ever make. Fuck them kids. So you would have to say why you're saying fuck them kids. None of us are taking the state. We don't have. You don't have to gauge my moral compass on one group being worse than the other, and they both killing kids. They're both wrong at all times. The reason why we're talking about Burkina Faso is because we're talking about Ibrahim Traore and what he's doing. Now, if you want to introduce, hold on, bro.
Like I said, he's a government.
Hold on, Kyle. I'm gonna give you all the time to speak, bro. I promise you. I'm about to go back out. I just wanted to say this because I heard you as I'm getting dressed.
Before you leave, Brad, I got one quick question.
Let me answer that.
What's the timeline from when you can kill kids within?
I don't think. No. Guess what? I'm the person in the room that said black supremacy is worse than white supremacy. I guess I'll add a line to it. No matter what if it's the Fulanis, if it's fucking Al Qaeda, if it's the Muslims, if it's Burkina Faso, if it's the Sahel region, at no point should any of them be shooting babies in their head. No one. And I don't think I have to tell you that. I don't got to tell you that. I'm always saying, I'm not saying that he's wrong for doing what. I'm not saying that he's wrong for doing this because these are upstanding people. I'm just saying everybody's wrong when you start shooting babies in any kind of circumstance. Here's the thing. This is what I meant to you when I said to you, this is why generals should not be in charge of countries because they're hammers. They're taught to be hammers. And everything to a hammer looks like a nail. So, of course, your first thing, rather than any kind of to change the narrative, yeah, they killed our babies, but there got to be somebody diplomatic in the room to say, how about we try to do this? Or we do something different. And I'm not saying they didn't try to do nothing different. I'm just looking at his actions as the leader of the country. Because if he was just a general, I really almost wouldn't care because generals are supposed to be heartless. But he's the leader of the country. So he can't, by just that knowledge, just be a hammer all the time. There has to be some level of diplomacy he has to exercise if you want to just be the general and then there's a president and you go rogue of the president, cool. But if the president fucking says We trying to work this out with the people. We doing negotiations. We trying to negotiate peace, even if it's a short peace. We trying to negotiate peace. And he goes killing babies. He be dead wrong. He's the leader of the country, Kyle. He's not just a general. I gotta go though. Please, y'all. One mic though.
The first thing I read when I read off the list of problems of what happens when the country goes too far right is the erosion of the democracy. First problem, but go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, and that's because that's the problem. Logic, war crimes is fucking war crimes. It don't matter what fucking reason you do them for. And so even if it was a general who was going rogue and doing the shit without, like, he'd be called out for that shit too. Like, I mean, like,
he'd still be a maniac. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about?
George Washington, the founder of the great Americas, used to
You
wear
told Logic
nigga teeth in his fucking mouth indentures.
Bring up America. You told
No.
Logic, don't bring up America.
I'm on a tyrant right now, man. I ain't sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Now you're off the wall. Now I'm go ahead. I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so when we talk about people and their ethics, we gotta be real particular. We gotta be real reflective about how the shit that we live in, the things that we do, the things that we abide by in America are reflected worldwide. And so for y'all to sit here and condemn a black leader, sub-Saharan African American or African leader that would identify with us as a group, he may or may not, but I'm just saying. Well, what I'm saying is, like, bro, like, y'all gotta chill the fuck out, man. Like,
for the record, a tirade doesn't have to be sourced, nigga. Go off. Just say whatever you. When you on the tirade, we're not gonna hold you to nothing you about to say. That was fucking
I'm always
kids.
saying my most egregious shit about the fucking kids, so like, I gotta calm down for a second. So my point is, man, like, y'all gotta be fair, bro. Like, judge fucking Africa the same way you would judge America, because if you're not gonna say anything about fucking Donald Trump killing them fucking Palestinians, you better not say shit about motherfucking Ibrahim Traoré killing the motherfucking Fulani. You better not, because I heard y'all niggas back here, y'all be talking shit, y'all be pro-Trump.
I ain't none of us in here cheering on Trump and being wild.
Hey, man,
Hold on. So are you really
conversation about Trump back here.
Are you really getting behind a dude that cooled his way into power, promised elections, then dissolved all political parties, got rid of all election committees, suppressed all press and media? Like, are you serious right now?
And then comparing his actions to Trump, you don't support, but you some kind of way support him.
The power structure in his country, in Burkina Faso, was tainted. It was leaning toward the Arab and the Arab extremists in Burkina Faso.
Okay, but then don't promise to establish any type of diplomacy or any type of real governance. Then don't be a fraud.
He's doing that now. He's doing that for his people in his ethnic group.
Bro, he promised elections and just suspended them, and then got rid of the election committee, and then dissolved all political parties. So did the dude in Mali. Like, what are we talking about? Y'all got to really pay attention.
All right, so you know what? So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would it be okay for you in your mind?
You're acting like we don't want the nigga to be good.
No. So
the nigga ain't good.
What the better response would be? Would the better response be for it to allow the Arabs to take over his country? Is that a better response? Appropriate response?
The Arabs take over what?
Nigga, if you don't know that major part of what's going on, then why are you in this conversation? The Arab people that are living in Burkina Faso have historically oppressed these people, and they enslaved these people, and that's why that's why the revolt has been going on.
So you saying all the people there that practice Islam are Arab?
The Arab people are black people.
That's what I'm saying.
No, Chef. You're not finna throw that sympathy word out here for these dumb niggas, bro.
And these are West Africans that practice Islam. These ain't
I'm not finna allow you to throw that there. They're black people, nigga. The color of your skin does not determine your ethnic group, my nigga.
They Burkina Faso people.
Why them Arab people was killing them other black people then, Chef?
I don't appreciate you really calling them
no. Why them black people?
That's going to give another connotation to people in their mind when you say Arab.
You full of shit, Chef. Because why?
No, I'm just saying.
I want you to show me that them folks is Arab and not West African. You tell me I was crazy.
Yeah, that's their culture.
Show me that.
And their
religion.
No.
Why was they killing these other people, Chef?
I don't know nothing about. I don't know nothing about
this.
I'm
Arab. They ain't African to you. They Arab.
You know what an Arab is? An Arab is the person that doesn't have a land that just travels, bro. Like Arab is a fucking ethnic group, my nigga. Like the same way African American ethnic group and Fulani is the ethnic group and
so they no longer
Arab
West
ethnic
African.
group. So these people are part of the Arab ethnic group that are called Fulani. Were in West Africa and they were historically oppressing these people of Burkina Faso. So back to the point that I was making is why is it okay for the Fulani to do that to them, for the Arabs, but not for them to respond in an appropriate manner? Answer that question.
Nobody said that was okay. Nobody said it was okay for them atrocities to occur on any side. What are we saying?
So what was happening to them was not okay.
We talking about what Buddy doing right now.
And then a person responds to something that's not okay, that's not acceptable. Why is your response dedicated to the response?
Because the reports that are coming out are not that he's killing other jihadist military groups. He's killing civilians.
Why is your personal rebuttal pointed at the response of a historically oppressed and disenfranchised African group of people rather than the people who fucking raped and killed?
I'm gonna say it again, Buddy. It's the reports are not coming out that he's killing other jihadist military groups. The reports are coming out that he's killing civilians, fam.
It doesn't matter.
How many?
Why are y'all not talking about the people who did this to these people? Why does that not matter? It's kind of like a rapist talk about, but you shouldn't wear them. You shouldn't wear those fucking shorts. Y'all niggas is sick-minded, bro. Y'all do not care about what caused the action. Y'all don't care about
reaction.
That stuff, bro.
The reaction.
Y'all do not care that these people were just minding their business and got kidnapped, they got raped, they got murdered, children got killed, then they had enough and they responded, and now all of a sudden, oh shit, they responded. Now we gotta calm down these fucking African niggas. Y'all sound like the fucking oppressor to me, bro. That's what y'all sound like. Y'all sound like some real slave mental ass niggas, man. Like for real, what's wrong with y'all?
Can I add to the conversation?
Go ahead.
No, you can't pretend because I'm pissed right now. I know you gonna be on my side.
I'm on your side. I'm on this side. I give you the.
That's what I just said. I don't want you to get caught with it straight right now. I'm shooting bullets.
No. My back broad. My have a bulletproof back because my facts are always strong. People love to jump and talk about democracy. Oh, he said he's going to open free and fair election. One of the countries in the world with the greatest economic growth ever in the last 50 years was Singapore. When Lee Wan Kwan, the Singaporean leader, came to power in 1966, he had no free and fair election. He stayed in power until 1990, 34 years. And if you look at Singapore economy and compare it to the economies of the rest of the world, it is in number one in so many places. It beats America.
Free market though.
Consistently. So democracy. It was a dictatorship. Singapore was a dictatorship.
But it was still a free market system that did it though. That changed the economy.
Let me finish. No, the approach that many African countries taking now is the Singaporean approach, where they're trying to educate the population.
Places like that are already doing it.
Yeah, they're trying to educate the population. They're trying to improve the infrastructure. All of them taking the Singaporean approach. Democracy don't work in the Singaporean approach. But guess what? The results show it is successful. It is successful because it shows more accountability.
A free
We don't
market
want no
system
more.
is a result of a
Hold on,
democracy.
we about to get lost.
What do we?
I
That's
don't.
a whole
I mean,
separate
No
thing.
more.
A free
We're
market
not getting
system is a
lost.
result
I'm
of
bringing
a
it back.
democratic process.
you taking us
That's
away
not
from what we were
true.
talking about.
No.
Not
That's not
true.
true either.
What
That's not
dictatorships you
true
seen just have
either.
free market open systems like that? Well,
China.
they just a highly
China.
I got China. The one anomaly.
Singapore.
And
That's two.
Are they like that now? What did they implement after that? After Buddy got out of power?
No, it was implemented while he was in power.
Same
It was
difference.
implemented.
It was practiced
while he
after
was
the
in
fact.
power. No, it was implemented
They
while
have elections
he was.
now in Singapore, though.
Yes, after the country became what it is. Not when it was what it was. When it became what it is. And we can't deny that. You can't deny that either. After it became what it is, you can open it up to other things. Listen, people love to talk about atrocities. After the Civil War,
They've had
1 million
elections
African Americans died in concentration camps. Yeah. No, I'm taking a different approach. No, I'm taking a different. No. Not taking a different approach to the same question. Abraham needs to be allowed time to do what he needs to do. And if certain eggs have to be broken, let it be broken. But don't let people know who hide their history, acting as if when it was their time to develop their countries, they didn't break a whole heap of eggs. All first world countries broke a whole heap of eggs. But all of a sudden, everybody's sitting on the high horse. Oh, we didn't break eggs like that. 1 million slaves didn't die in concentration camp after the Civil War. There was no concentration camp for black people who died of starvation and diseases and all different kind of atrocities. No, we're not like that. No, it don't work like that.
Okay, so cool. So Kyle, out of all the stuff that you said, a part of what you said were like you were speaking towards people doing what they have to do, so on and so forth.
Left logic.
So, yeah, okay. What I wanted to ask them, what I wanted to be able to ask them is, so both people are just kind of doing what they got to do to gain their dominance in the region for whatever particular reason. Right?
No.
However they did it, that's how they did it. So what wouldn't justify the Fulanis getting their lick back once it comes back around? Like what would make them wrong?
Like y'all need to, and if y'all really want to use other African examples, look at Nigeria. Dangote been in power for mad long, and he's probably not going to leave out. However, they have tribal issues with the Igbo and the Yoruba and all that, but he uses diplomacy and real deal policies to stop all that shit. They've had plenty of back and forth wars and atrocities going on up there. They still do, but you don't see the fucking leader of the nation committing fucking 220 casualties on civilian fucking villages. Like, we don't see that.
You can't use Nigeria. You can't use Nigeria.
They have a huge issue with jihadism. They have a huge issue.
All right. Nigeria is the biggest shithole country in Africa. And this is why I'm going to say
that's not my point.
You can't use Nigeria. Why you can't use Nigeria? What? Let me finish. Nigeria bribed the opposition. Nigeria, everybody in Nigeria bribing each other. It's a bribery country. That's why Nigeria had peace. It's the only country with Rolls Royce and no road. Nigeria have Rolls Royce and no road. More Rolls Royce
they're
and
only
road.
at peace because of extortion. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, because of bribery. Continuous
I'm
bribery.
saying they still have tribal issues, but that don't mean.
Yeah, but it's mostly bribery, keeping them what them is. Them bribe each other. It's the oil money. It's the oil money. When you go outside of Lagos, it's bribery. So you can't use Nigeria. Nigeria don't even have two.
They celebrate Ibrahim Traore for kicking out the French, but he invite Russians the next day. What are we talking about? Like this? That's something to celebrate. Like, what are we saying?
Yes, it is, because the Russians never enslaved anybody. The Russians have never enslaved any country. The Russians have never done that.
Make it okay to do business with them.
No, he's trying to get partners now who don't have ulterior motive. Somebody mentioned Botswana earlier.
When the hell has Putin been on the side of a deal that don't benefit him?
But with mutual gratifications. Most deals that African countries have made with the West never benefited African countries. Never did. It was
And now
always
doing deals with
one-sided.
Russia and China, bro. They be having to
Well,
give up their whole airports to China whenever they can't pay the money back, bro. That shit
that's
is a
not true.
scheme.
That's
Yes,
not
it's
true.
true. What the
That's
fuck?
not true. That was disputed that China was repossessing the airport. It's not true.
No, I said they
It's
have
not
to
true.
give it up.
They didn't give it up. That was not true. And it was not. Where was that airport again? And it's not true. Go and look at it. Go and look at ChatGPT. Come to your opinion. If China repossessed any airport in Africa,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
that's
not
not
true.
true. There's still going to be some sort of
No, but
you're
you
going to
can't
pay.
assume. No, you can't make that assumption based on your opinion. China has built how many airports
Man,
in
but
Africa?
you're
How
not
many
going to
railroads?
speak as if you know the ins and outs of the deal as well. Like we both could
Yeah,
be
but
wrong.
you don't know. But you make an assumption.
I'm saying historically, when have we seen it be in their favor? Any African country when they do any type of foreign affairs.
Historically, all right, then historically, when has China historically, name me two assets name me one asset that China has built that it has repossessed. Since we're talking about historically, name me one asset that China has repossessed.
I don't know. That wasn't my question. I don't know the answer.
No, you mentioned historically. So
no,
I'm telling you historically.
I asked you when historically have they been beneficial towards any African country being in any type of deal with any foreign country.
Well, we have never seen it in China. We have never seen China done it.
Yeah, we have. We see it in South Africa right now. You get off the airport, you're gonna see the Bank of China in South Africa right now, all through that motherfucker.
Because the Bank of China financed it. That's why you see the Bank of China on it. They always put who finance it.
South
that
Africa
don't mean
has plenty of civil unrest going on right now. Plenty of underdevelopments going on right now. Like
yes,
they still have the De Beers and them families still have mines and shit down there. Ain't nothing really changed. They hated Mandela for getting in business with those motherfuckers. People don't even talk about that. But that's not the issue. What I'm saying is China is now a financier, and it ain't no better. Is what I'm saying.
That's not true either. That's not true either. Prior to China going into Africa, would you agree or would you disagree that there's been less civil unrest since China started investing in Africa? Before China was investing in Africa,
unrest everywhere.
Civil unrest since China went into Africa. Prior to China going into Africa, what was Africa like? Be honest with yourself.
I mean, they were all scattered. You can't say every place was alike. Like Singapore, Rwanda don't have much foreign deals going on, and they're doing it all just by free market. If you want to come here, open up shop, come through. We ain't got no particular deal with no one in particular.
You don't have all the information. After the Rwandan conflict, guilt finance a lot of the Rwandans improvement. A lot of American money was spent in Rwanda. Go and look at it.
Any foreign relations at all.
That's not true. Clinton was very guilty that he did not intercede early enough, or he did not intercede any at all to stop the atrocity. As a result, America invested billions in Rwanda. The money that they get to do all of the work they got, it was the Americans. But you just said, and the UK. But you just said there was no foreign help. You just said that.
There's no, we provide them like security, stuff like that, but we're not.
No, you provide them money.
We're not tampering with their free market systems like that, bro. China's all through just like Chinese mobile carriers in South Africa and shit like that. You don't see that here nowhere else where no other country provides a mobile carrier there.
Stupid.
That's big business. That's why it's there.
There's no evidence that there's less civil unrest since China invested.
Of course, there's evidence.
No. There's no. Listen. I'm not saying that there's no evidence of it. I'm saying this clear statement. There's no clear evidence that civil unrest decreased due to Chinese investment. In several cases, investment usually correlates with an increase in protests or social tensions, especially when local communities feel excluded or harmed. So it's the opposite of what you're saying. Literally.
It's some bullshit. I got friends that live in South Africa.
It's not just the Chinese Stoopies in your defense. It's not just the Chinese investment. It's any investment because there's a strong, not just anti-Western sentiment, but just an anti-outsider sentiment. So when they do these investments, they don't necessarily, it doesn't strengthen the community. These people invest, get their money, and they leave. the community is stayed the same. So it's not a Chinese thing. It's just or Western. It's outsiders. So it's not. It's linked to more. They're protesting because they want their piece of the pie. And they're not getting it. Go ahead.
All right.
I'm just saying we can all say stuff. It's cool, but I want to at least give some kind of source.
Okay. All right. The source that you gave us. All right. Since I'm not going to debate that. Not that I can't, but I'm pulling back on that. Because the kind of unrest that Africa is experiencing now, you might have civil unrest where people might be looking back and saying that, oh, China, oh, China, oh, China. But the kind of unrest that they had before the Chinese intervened is not comparable to what the unrest is today. Right? Before Chinese intervention, you had more civil wars going on in Africa.
Rwanda and the Congo bound to tip off any minute today. Like people still trying to negotiate peace.
And you would be right. No, you would be right. You would be 100%. Right.
So I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, it says the nature. No, listen. It says the nature of the unrest before large-scale Chinese investment pre-2000s was definitely colonial, liberation, Cold War, Civil War, military coups, juntas, and then IMF bank structural investment. But the reason why there has been the reason why there hasn't been less unrest, just different unrest, is because China only invested in countries where they got that shit in order. They wouldn't even come in there if it was like a Hotel Rwanda situation going on. So they would pick places where they shut the shit down or at least quieted it down enough, and then that unrest changed.
Right. So Stupid can talk it off the top of my head, I know it. No, Rwanda and the Congo. The Rwandans, those assholes that look very nice now. I love the leader of Rwanda. I can't pronounce his name. He is a mercenary. That mass murderer is worse than Abraham, whatever it is. Because what he's trying to do, he is trying now to cut off a piece of the Congo. He does not mind that those who ran away into Congo to hide, because a lot of the people who committed the atrocities left.
You're cutting out. You chopped and screwed, Jay. No more Matrix.
Left Rwanda. A phone call was coming in. Left Rwanda and ran into the Congo. He wants a piece of the Congo. Rwanda is presently in the Congo now, mining, doing all different kind of bullshit.
Yeah. But
and he wants to annex a piece of the Congo. Everybody in Africa know that Rwanda wants to annex a piece
right now.
Right.
Like,
it's not going to jump up because the Congolese don't have the arms.
No, they don't.
They're not getting the arms. They're not getting the arms from nowhere. But guess who's getting the arms? From America.
Rwanda.
The Rwandans.
Actually,
and guess why they're getting the arms?
They get the most security from us, for sure.
And guess why they're getting the arms? Because the Americans and the British want those minerals that it will get when it's annexed that part of the Congo that it wants.
They rock with the UK because they said they've pretty much oppressed them like the least. So
right,
it is
but
what it is.
No, they rock with them because they're financing them the most. And they're going to annex the Congo. The Congo don't have the manpower yet.
They have
the Chinese. They don't have the manpower inside the arms. The Chinese now are deciding whether or not to go into the Congo now because they want the minerals.
Yeah.
So the Congo.
That's a little. See,
bro, there's already 1,000 companies in the Congo, lithium mining, cobalt mining, coltan, all that. They already down there.
Yeah.
But the guy's name is Kagame. It ain't just. It isn't just the minerals. I mean, let's assume we all believe Africa and its minerals people want. So once you remove that, he's also the guy who stopped. Like he's seen as the guy who stopped the conflict.
Right.
So that's a big Kagame. But he's seen, as far as from our side, he's seen as the guy who stopped the killing. So if you look at a person and you could say, well, we want to invest, we want to strip the minerals, we want to rob the minerals. I won't disagree with you with that. But this is the guy who stopped the killings and brought some stability. So they look at him as like, well, shit. I mean, I'll bet on him. at least in the chaos, he can stop the chaos enough so we can get some of the money. And then on top of that, hold on. But then on top of that, Rwanda is one of the largest contributors to peacekeeping, the UN peacekeeping aspect. They're keeping the soldiers safe.
The issue was with Stu's point. The issue was there was this group called these M23 rebels or something like that. They were in Congo, kind of like fucking shit up, and they was found out they was backed by Rwanda and the Belgian homies. So so that was an issue thing. But like I said, they just got them out of there maybe like a few months ago. That's why I was saying that. I was like, that shit was about to jump off any minute, but they pulled out like 2-3 months ago.
Listen, don't let the West paint that beautiful picture. Kazam, what's his name? The K name. I love him. I love him. But he has killed more people since the end of the Rwandan conflict than that has died in Rwanda. He's in the Congo murdering thousands of people a day.
Well, I mean, he was in that what's it called, that in the Civil War that they was fighting against, that patriotic front, whatever that was called, and I forgot the name of those shits. But yeah,
nobody's defending Kagame. Nobody's defending him. I'm just telling you, the West, he has a great marketing team. Because to the West, he seems like the person on the ground.
Yes.
No, not just a friend. Not just a friend. He's effective.
But he was also elected too. You got to give him his
he's effective. He also stopped some shit that no one could stop. Like the United States couldn't stop that shit, but he did.
That election in Rwanda don't mean anything. When the Rwandans formed the first, let me finish. When the Rwandans formed the constitution, there was term limits involved. There was term limits. He should not be able to run again, right? But the first thing he did was eliminated the term limits. He's a populist. Yeah. And because what he's doing is that he took all that money and he fixed up Rwanda. Everybody is going to be elected until he dies. He's a populist. And then also the opposition in Rwanda have to run away. Because while he might not be blatant with it, he destabilized opposition daily. He has no problem. Go look it up.
No, listen. And I agree with you. But you're saying, you're not even saying the worst of it. That motherfucker won with a 99% vote. I ain't never seen, now listen, I done seen at least 1,000 elections, bro. I promise you. I've been in politics since my childhood.
He has been accused of
that motherfucker won one of them races, 98.2% to point. The next motherfucker didn't have 1%. That is unrealistic. That is something else. Listen, I'm not
Abraham cannot compare to him, but his country look nice and it look beautiful.
They don't
Abraham wants
to be real.
Abraham wants what he has. Abraham wants what he has, and Abraham is going to play the role right. His game. Of course, he wants a nice, beautiful, clean country.
Killing all his opponents. So it's like, are we saying that's the way? He keep killing his opponents, bro. Kagame. That's why he ain't really suspended elections. He keep killing off his political opposition.
So he's no better than any of them. Yeah, I'm just saying he can't work with Kagame because he was the West.
But he's following the same playbook as Kagame. They all are, bro. Him and that
he's following the same playbook.
No, he's not. Because he's not. He rejects. Kagame embraces the West. That's why he looked past that shit. I know they are too, but Kagame is doing it the other way. He's embracing the West to get the guns, to get the arms, to get the money, and get the media to not look at him doing the same shit Ibrahim is doing. Ibrahim is trying to do all the fucked up shit Kagame is doing and reject the West, which is impossible.
Human Rights Watch been reporting on Buddy too. Like they're the ones that uncovered that he's killing. He's even killing off political opponents abroad.
Yeah. He's a crazy nigga. He's a smart.
So that's what I'm saying. We can't welcome that. Like just because they allow free market, like we know what they do in that free market trade. They gonna fatten their pockets as well. When you allow all these people to come in, you're just gonna be like, all right, cool. As long as y'all give me a piece, I don't give a damn.
That's why my argument is never one is good and one is wrong. My argument is they're both wrong. That's when Kayel's talking is that we're saying Ibrahim is wrong and the Falanis and Al Qaeda is okay. They're both wrong. It's the easiest stance to take because it's the morally correct stance, you know. But we're taking a morally correct stance from America. We're really not qualified to do it because we don't have boots on the ground. I wouldn't last 3 hours over there. Not even. I'm sorry, what'd you say, bro? Somebody said brass songs.
All I know, they both suppress the information and only let the good shit get out, and and that's a common narrative that we see amongst those African leaders that rise up and get all this praise all of a sudden. It's common denominator there. Why we can't never hear from the folks that's down there actually going through it? They don't want you to. They just want it to look good to the West.
Have y'all ever heard of Frank Zanu? Ever heard of him?
Would you say I can't?
It's this dude or this African dude from Benin, but I guess he's an American. His name is Frank Zanu, and he talks about he's like the Nigerian Thomas Howell. Like he talks about Africa in a real like way that I never really heard nobody talk about it. That's from there. It's like in a realistic way. And it's
you're talking about
most of them that come over here.
Fetty. Zanu is like his nickname. His name is Frank.
Yeah,
he's a motivational speaker. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen him. He's the Benin. He's in the Benin.
Yup.
He is like a Sowell over there. Right?
He be going there like he has an accountability thing. Like he says, like black countries won't develop based off just certain infrastructure. That like he has an element of accountability and realism to where like it's not all external forces. I guess he acknowledges it, but he also has like an approach to where like we got to be honest with ourselves. You know what I mean? And he talks about like tropical. He talks about a lot of shit, and it's very controversial. That's why I said I never heard an African really in that way break it down like that.
You know they call him a plant though.
They call him a what?
He got a plant because he was gotten awards from the White House. He spends a lot of time over here.
I looked at his resume, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked at his shit. I'm like, he look official. So I'm like, I never heard of bro before. I just started watching his YouTube channel today, actually.
Yeah. But that's an interesting spin that you put. I never heard nobody I ain't never heard nobody say so well, but if you really look at it, yeah, basically, without the science. He's all of that without the science. Because he's more motivational like than anything. Like he tries to, you know, how can I put it? Just make shit plain for them to represent them on the world stage. Very good speaker though too.
Yeah, because he was on a stage with like some African college students, and you can tell that they weren't used to getting like that type of perspective, like to where it ain't all colonialism or it ain't all them, you know what I mean? And he kind of gave a more grounded approach. But hearing like the young African college students listen to him and like how like kind of shook they was, I'm like, shit. I mean, even though you may not agree with them, that dialect is needed, challenging ideas and not having, you know what I mean?
I agree. Only thing, Fetty, that scares me about him, always scared me about him. That's why I would say a plan. That's a conspiracy theory. But the only thing that scares me about him is like in a region like that, some of them words that get you killed. He ain't get killed yet. So I'm trying to figure out because there's other people that have done that tried to talk to the kids and kind of bring more of a Western approach, more of a scientific approach, and they were dead. And he seems to have, because he used to work for the Washington Post or the Washington Times. Oh, I forget. No, it's the New York Times. So that he used to work for the Washington Post. So he's a brilliant brother. Brilliant brother. Hey, how many people here? Logic. The draft is Monday at 7.
I bet.
Yeah. So everybody got to sign up. I'm not baby and motherfuckers. Y'all got the link, sign up.
Yeah, I heard you say my name for a second. You talking to me?
No, I was just saying you were in here. I was saying that the fantasy draft is Monday at 7.
That's around the time of the face-off day, man.
Yes. I'll fix it. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. What's up with because to be honest, we might be able to do it during the day too. Well, I don't want to do it because I want motherfuckers to be able to talk. Well, I figure it out.
Right.
I ain't seen Joey since.
Joey actually messaged me today about the flyer, and I told him I'm probably going to use the same flyer for the debate, and I'm going to make a different one for the face-off. I asked him if he had a logo or picture he wanted to add to it.
Okay. How you doing on that topic?
You said, how am I doing? I've done some like preliminary research, so I've identified that what he could attempt to attack.